through loud and clear. The red and white scarves were held aloft. The red and white flags are now being put to one side as we're underway on BBC Radio 5 Live. And Nottingham Forest will play from left to right as we look at an early touch for Sells, all in yellow, away towards our left, out towards Nico Williams. Early ball towards Origi who actually started on the right, and Elanga is the one who's central.
Yeah, it's going to be massively important for Nottingham Forest to get this crowd behind them. You heard the atmosphere before the game. It was a fantastic start by Forest. They've gone forward 2 passes and they've got themselves a corner down this right-hand side. And it will be interesting to see who plays up top, whether there's a 9, whether it's Origi or Hudson-Odoi or Elanga, or they're actually going to interchange.
So, attacking the Bridgeford end of the ground, Nottingham Forest have been awarded an early corner kick in these opening 60 seconds. And Gibbs White to take it. This will be taken right-footed. It'll be an outswinger. Left arm goes aloft. Quickly back to his side. Stuttering runner. Right-footed. In it goes now. Aimed towards Origi. Headed back by Nico Williams. Yates leaps in the air. The referee, Paul Tierney, has spotted that there was a foul on Van Dijk, who's currently lying down and now sits up inside the Liverpool penalty area. Paul Tierney, the referee, on duty here at the City Ground today for what is a dry and bright but equally cold afternoon at the start of March.
Yeah, and Forest have made a really good start there. They've got a corner. It was the second ball that Ryan Yates was challenging for. Just goes up with Van Dijk, puts his arm across his face and just catches the Liverpool captain as he's coming down.
The early results in the Football League: Bristol City 0, Cardiff City 1. In the West Yorkshire Derby it finished Huddersfield Town 1, Leeds United 1. And in League 2, Wimbledon got a late winner in injury time to beat MK Dons by a 1-0. This is the Premier League. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Gakpo makes a run through the middle. Headed away by Omobamidele. Picked up by Dominguez. Origi couldn't control it. McAllister gets it out from underneath his feet. Elliott back towards McAllister. Central area. Robertson high up the pitch, near side the left. Inviting ball in. Just arced its way over the head of Gakpo. A little bit too far over the head of the Dutchman and out for a goal kick. Paul.
Well, lovely passing by Liverpool on the edge of the box. First time that they've ventured into Forest's final third. Ends up with Andy Robertson on this side just in front of us. Lifts the ball into the box, just curling away from Gakpo. Just had a little bit too much on it, took it over his head.
So Forest will take the goal kick. Murillo was going to take it, and then the goalkeeper will actually say, no, I'll tell you what, I'm going to strike it downfield. He hits it right-footed.
What a waste.
And it goes over the head of Elanga and straight to the feet of Van Dijk.
It's a stranger on that one, Deno, because he's got his 2 centre-halves inside his own 6-yard box. If he's going to kick it downfield, at least give them a chance to join the team, get up the pitch, because when the goalkeeper kicked that ball, the pitch was so spread, they immediately lost possession, and he had 2 of his own centre defenders still inside his own box.
Kelleher passes the ball to Van Dijk. Liverpool will play out from the back. Now it's with Konate coming forward, up towards Gakpo. Back with Konate, drifting out towards the right. Forest trying to make some pressure. Bobby Clark had made the run there from midfield, not spotted. They play it out towards Robertson on this near side the left. Gomez pops up in a central area from right back. Elliott now takes over. There's a huge, expansive area where Gomez has actually stayed in the central area. So at the minute they're playing without a right back at Liverpool as they play it out towards Robertson on this near side. The little flick will go astray. A goal in our featured game in League One. Fratton Park, Paul Scott.
Portsmouth 1, Oxford 0. The league leaders needing just 90 seconds to take the lead. Callum Lang with a shot that squirmed under Jamie Cumming. Pompey 1, Oxford 0.
St Mirren 0, Aberdeen 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership, and the ball goes out of play. Paul.
Yeah, this is what Nottingham Forest are going to have to do. They're going to have to press Liverpool. They're going to have to make it uncomfortable for them. You're looking at the way that they've lined up, and they've got Origi's actually out on this right-hand side, and it is actually Anthony Elanga who's playing down the middle of the 3. Morgan Gibbs-White is in that number 10 role. He seems to be given a little bit more of a free role, less defensive responsibility. But Forest they've set out the goal early on. They're going to try and press Liverpool. They're going to try and make it uncomfortable. But Liverpool do look really comfortable when they're in possession.
Ball goes back to Kelleher. Bright orange. Goal at St Andrews, Sheridan Robbins.
Birmingham 1, Southampton 0. Koji Miyoshi with his 5th goal of the season on the right-hand side into the top left-hand corner. Beautiful strike. It's Birmingham 1, Southampton 0.
And Millwall lead Watford by a 1-0 in the Championship as well. Neil Harris back for his another spell. Won at Southampton in that return last weekend. his first home game. They're leading Watford 1-0 in the Championship. Millwall 1, Watford 0. We welcome listeners to the BBC World Service, to the City Ground, the home of Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest against Liverpool, 0-0. And wherever you are in the world, always a pleasure to have your company for this important game in the Premier League. And there's been so much talk about the future of the City Ground as well. It's been Forest home since 1898, but talk that they might well quit the City Ground because there's a row due to the local council over rent, so they might be scrapping the redevelopment plans. But any talk of a potential protest didn't materialise, certainly in the early stages here at the City Ground. 0-0. Liverpool have a free kick, all in purple, playing from right to left. Robertson to take it, headed out by two Forest players. One of them was Nico Williams, the Welsh international. Comes to Robertson, hits it in early, first time, dropping ball. Van Dijk in an offside position. Free kick to Forest, goalless Paul Robinson.
We talked to Chappers before in the build-up to the game. We spoke about the youngsters in this Liverpool side, and Bobby Clark in midfield there. Liverpool won the free kick. He had the audacity to just nutmeg Ryan Yates, the Nottingham Forest captain. If there was any worry about the lack of confidence or him settling into the team, he just quite brazenly nutmegged the Nottingham Forest captain, who took him down quite crudely, and he won his team a free kick.
Northampton 0, Charlton 1, a latest score in League One, and also in League One at London Road. Peterborough United are leading Exeter by 1-0. There's been no scores anywhere so far elsewhere in the Premier League. Of course, it's the Manchester derby. City against United tomorrow. We'll have commentary with John Murray and Dion Dublin from 3:30 on BBC Radio 5 Live. Arsenal travel to Bramall Lane on Monday night, but this is one of 6 games in the top flight. And if there is a goal, you'll hear it here first on BBC Radio 5 Live. Kelleher strokes it to Van Dijk. Back it goes to Kelleher. Back to Fratton Park, a penalty, Paul Scott.
Cameron Brannigan has just equalised for Oxford. It's Portsmouth 1, Oxford 1, 6 minutes on the clock. It was Sean Raggett with the clumsy challenge, and Oxford are level almost immediately. Pompey 1, Oxford 1.
Van Dijk out to Bradley, did ever so well to keep the ball in play with a header, as he really had to get onto his toes. Toffolo, the left back for Forest, clears it away downfield. Elanga will get there first before Konate. And Konate will go with him. Elanga left hand side for Forest. They're playing from left to right, as in their red shirts and white shorts, and it's Toffolo who waits to take the throw. You go all the way back. The last 9 home wins for Forest against Liverpool have all been by a 1-goal margin since 1978, when they won in the European Cup by 2-0. 8 of England's 15 European Cup successes shared between these two. Indeed, the only 2 clubs to defend it successfully. Derby lead Port Vale by 1-0 in League One. So Portsmouth pegged back, and second place Derby, who are 7 points adrift of John Mousinho's side, are ahead. They lost at home to Charlton in midweek, but they're leading by 1-0. And in the Championship, Swansea are 1-0 up at home to Blackburn Rovers. Blackburn, who are still winless under John Eustace in 5 games at the Liberty Stadium. Swansea City 1, Blackburn 0. No other goals elsewhere. Luis Diaz near side the left, ahead of him. Bobby Clark makes the run. Bobby Clark, will he get a corner kick? No, it'll run out for a goal kick. At some point this afternoon, I'm going to inadvertently say Lee Clark.
It's just habit. You know you're getting old, Deno, when you're actually watching the sons of people that you played against, and your own son's not too far away as well. That's when you know you're getting old. But it's fantastic to see the youngsters coming through this Liverpool setup. I mean, because of injuries and suspensions, the manager's hand has been forced, and you wonder whether at what point he would have given these youngsters an opportunity, because they're certainly ready for it. They're showing that, they're proving that already.
I know I'm getting old when I'm working with you, and I used to commentate on you. I used to commentate on Bobby's dad, who gave a lovely interview on 5 Live earlier in the week. Just you could hear the pride just oozing out of him, Lee, with Bobby's success at Wembley last week at Wembley. Gibbs White heads the ball in field. And
I can sympathise with him. No matter what game I've played in or situation, there's no worse feeling than watching your own children play sport. It's one of the most gut-wrenching, nerve-wracking things, and I can only imagine what he went through at Wembley.
Well, there's a few of them, isn't there? You think there's Jason Kumas, there's Jayden Dans as well. So there's no shortage of footballing sons in this Liverpool rank. Neil Dans, of course, the father of Jayden, who had that excellent performance against Southampton in midweek. I was at Stamford Bridge in midweek watching Chelsea toil against Leeds United, squeak their way through. How they started at Brentford. John Southall.
Well, they've started okay. Brentford 0, Chelsea 0. A couple of moments forward. Chelsea, Enzo Fernandez, first time shot deflected wide, and Disasi with a header onto the roof of the net. Brentford 0, Chelsea 0.
Grimsby without a win in 7 in League 2 are leading at home to Forest Green 1-0. Forest have a throw left-hand side. Gibbs White tries to take it into feet to turn away from Gomez. Clark comes across. Referee Paul Tierney says that will be a Nottingham Forest free kick. 10 yards forward of the centre circle.
Yeah, and looking at the way that Liverpool have lined up, Conor Bradley's dropping into that right back. Joe Gomez is playing in that inverted full-back role, and I think it's to counteract Morgan Gibbs-White, because Gibbs-White plays in that number 10 role. He is at the heart of everything that Forest do, and they look for him quite a lot of the time. But when Liverpool are in possession, Joe Gomez, he's not playing as a right back, he's almost playing as a holding midfielder.
Rangers 0, Motherwell 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. We'll bring you news of that goal as Forest take the free kick. In it goes towards Ryan Yates. Kelleher, though, is quickly off his goal line and gathers it in. So this is a shock scoreline, Connie McLaughlin.
That certainly was not in the script. You're absolutely right. It's Rangers 0, Motherwell 1. Theo Blair found the ball on the edge of the box. He squeezed in his shot just past Jack Butland in the Rangers goal, and it's certainly woken the fans up inside Ibrox. What have Rangers got in reply? Rangers 0, Motherwell 1.
They'll have to come from behind as they did last weekend. But of course Celtic are at Hearts tomorrow. It's a midday kick-off. There'll be updates into 5 Live Premier League Sunday, where we have slightly earlier starts tomorrow for our 2 games. I mentioned the Manchester derby at 3:30. As a result, Burnley-Bournemouth gets underway at 1 o'clock from Turf Moor. But this is the Premier League on a Saturday afternoon. 12 minutes played. Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 0, and Liverpool have a chance to extend their lead to 4 points. And of course, next weekend it is Manchester City for Liverpool, and they will know that they are then going into that game guaranteed, ensured top of the pile if they can get the victory here today. That's the incentive. Yeah,
it's a huge incentive for Liverpool, and it's a Liverpool team that are in a good vein of form, aren't they? We know the injuries and the players that they've got missing. They're starting to get players back, but they're winning games, they're winning football matches, and going into that Manchester City game against the Manchester City side, who I saw midweek against Luton, who were absolutely outstanding. And Pep, apart from Jack Grealish, has got a fully fit squad at his disposal, which isn't good news for the rest of the Premier League.
That game next Sunday, a week on Sunday, 3:45, the kick-off at Anfield. Forest have a throw. Toffolo looks for the run of Dominguez through into the penalty area. Comes out towards Yates. Yates with the challenge. I think because Dominguez has gone down holding his head, Paul Tierney has quite correctly stopped play, so to check on the welfare of the Nottingham Forest midfielder. It remains 0-0. It's been quite a tentative start actually in these opening 13 minutes. We've been to Brentford, we'll now go to Tottenham. Henry Moran.
A similar story here, still goalless. Spurs 0, Palace 0. Palace the brighter start. Mateta's just had a shot deflected wide. It remains Spurs 0, Palace 0.
Thank you, Henry. Ball out towards that far side. Then it goes to Omar Bamadeli, and then the ball played back by Nico Williams. Just an early goal at St James's Park. Chris Coles.
And it's gone to the home side, Newcastle, who lead Wolves by 1-0. Fluid counter-attack. Gordon on the left-hand side. His cross was deflected, and there was Alexander Isak for goal number 15 of the season for him to nod in at the back post. Newcastle 1, Wolves 0.
Just if you look at the Liverpool lineup at the moment, Gomez is actually playing in midfield.
Holding midfield, yeah, and Bradley's dropped to right back.
Origi comes forward, shoots! There's a venomous effort as well. Divock Origi, the former Liverpool striker, left-footed, 25 yards out from goal, whistled to the right-hand post.
Really good strike. Forest playing quite direct, quite quick on the second ball, win the second ball. Origi gets free of his marker, gets in front of Joe Gomez, he can't touch him, lets fly with his left boot, whistles past Kelleher's left-hand post.
They didn't start like that though, did they?
No, they started with Gomez at right back, but then he dropped into that inverted position in the midfield. But it's something that they've clearly worked on because of Gibbs-White. Morgan Gibbs-White causes a lot of teams problems playing in that number 10 role. So what Liverpool have done is they've put Joe Gomez set in front of Konate and Virgil van Dijk, and Conor Bradley has dropped into his familiar right back role. But when they're in possession like they are now, Conor Bradley's given licence to roam a lot higher up the field.
Yes, he's got into that role, that inverted role that Alexander-Arnold does. Elliott now is playing right of the front three, so Liverpool being extremely fluid in the way that they're setting up with and then without the ball. 15 minutes played. Luis Diaz makes the run forward. Foot comes in from Nico Williams. Out of play, it goes for a throw. Dundee 1, Kilmarnock 0 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. No other goals to tell you about elsewhere. Liverpool have a throw near side the left. Quite a muted atmosphere, I've got to say, at the City Ground today.
Well, it was an incredible atmosphere before the game, wasn't it, with the flags and the banners behind the goal and the crowd getting up for the game. But it's the game started quietly, and there does seem to be a little bit of a lull. Even the away fans are quiet at the moment.
Times I've been here before when the top sides have come to the City Ground. It's been a raucous atmosphere, but it's almost as if they're waiting for the players to get the fans going.
It is. It's a little bit quiet,
very
but
subdued.
I think it's more of maybe of a nervousness. I mean, you look at the position of Forest in the league. You look at the need for points, if you like, and a Liverpool team come in to the City Ground off the back of winning the Carabao Cup, off the back of winning against Southampton midweek and the fantastic run that they're in, sitting top of the Premier League. There might be a little bit of trepidation, I think, in the air, really.
Yes, 0-0 it remains here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Free kick goes in favour of Forest. We'll go to Craven Cottage. Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 0 Brighton 0. Brighton with the game's best chance, and Ciso shooting straight at Leno from the edge of the area. Harrison Reed's gone close from the edge of the box down the other end too. Fulham 0 Brighton 0.
Gomez, who played in midfield against Southampton in midweek. I mean, his versatility this season, he's played right back, obviously, centre of defence, left back, and now in midfield. He's a manager's dream in that respect.
He's been fantastic this year, the versatility that he's shown, and I think the way that Liverpool play now, and you talked about the fluidity that they've got in a game, changing formations, and I think they've got players now that can play a number of positions, but Gomez is certainly having an excellent season doing that.
This is Luis Diaz. Robertson high up the pitch near side the left. Back to Luis Diaz. Takes it on his right foot. Shoot. Takes deflection behind for a corner kick. We'll go to Everton and Mas Farouki.
Goalless here, 17 minutes played. West Ham really coming into this in the last few minutes. Alvarez forcing a chance from Pickford. A couple of corners as well. Paquetá looking dangerous in the Everton box as well. Everton 0, West Ham 0 though.
Thanks, Mas. Corner kick for Liverpool. From that outstretched leg from Omar Bamadeli, that could have gone anywhere, but it's a corner kick that Robertson is going to take on this near side the left. He's got Bobby Clark as the short option just behind him on this near side the left. It's going to be an outswinger. It's 0-0. Robertson delivers it. Diaz tried to flick it on at the near side. Comes to Clark. Back to Diaz. Robertson. Triangular passing patterns from Liverpool. Infield. Elliott less than 30 yards out from goal. Partially cleared. Clark lets it settle, chips the ball forward, and they're saying it took a touch from a Forest defender on its way through, but it'll go out for a goal kick, and it remains 0-0. Back to Brentford, John Southall.
Brentford 0, Chelsea 0 in the sunshine. Couple of chances for Brentford. Tony at the back post on the volley off Colwell, back off Tony and behind, and Wheater 20-yarder wide of the right post. Brentford 0, Chelsea 0.
He's getting a good run in this Liverpool side. Bobby Clark, he's played in 8 of the last 12, so 9 of the last 13 now as Origi brings it off his chest, runs into Clark. The referee has actually said that Origi has fouled Clark, and the free kick goes in favour of the away side, and there's a wag of the finger from a disapproving Nuno Espirito Santo.
Yeah, and a lot of the Forest fans around us as well didn't agree with that decision. I think he just caught him just as he released the ball there, Origi.
Fleetwood 1, Wigan 0. Free kick's already been taken out towards Canate. Rolls it out to Bradley, far side. Elliott now comes into a central area. They really are intermingling this Liverpool positions. Wrexham are 1-0 up at home to Accrington, incidentally, in League 2. Back to Tottenham, Henry Moran.
Huge chance for Tottenham. Timo Werner's fluffed his lines though, through on goal, tried to take it round Sam Johnston. The goalkeeper got back, blocked the shot. It remains Spurs 0, Palace 0.
It's a great ball in from Robertson, and certainly Murillo was taking no chances with the clearance. Sells had actually dived forward, and they actually high-five central defender and goalkeeper. He wasn't prepared to wait, was he, Murillo?
Well, that is the perfect example of why they call it the corridor of uncertainty, because neither goalkeeper or centre-back there made a real decision. The goalkeeper Sells came out. There was a great cross by Robertson, just drifting away from the goalkeeper, but drifting into Murillo. Neither and both got a contact on it. The goalkeeper ends up pushing it into Murillo, and that could have ended up in his own net.
Southampton were behind. The last we heard from Sheridan Robbins at St Andrews. There's been another goal. Sheridan.
It's now Birmingham 1, Southampton 1. Of course, it's Adam Armstrong, his 17th goal of the season. Made no mistake from close range. Birmingham 1, Southampton 1.
Carlisle 0, Reading 1 is the latest score in League One. Paul Tierney has now given a free kick for a foul on Yates. It's a free kick to Nottingham Forest inside their own half. And at the minute, the nature of the free kicks, there's no rhythm to this game.
Well, that's it. I think it's been a very stop-start game so far. I don't think Nottingham Forest will be too disappointed. Liverpool haven't really been able to get any rhythm. They've had a couple of dangerous balls into the box from Robertson, but as far as clear-cut chances and getting into a rhythm, Forest have stopped that, and it has been a little bit scrappy.
Murillo hits the ball over the top. Hudson-Odoi, who's a name we've hardly mentioned in these opening 20 minutes, running forward off that left-hand side, goes out of play for a goal kick that Liverpool takes. Swansea have got a second goal. Swansea 2, Blackburn Rovers 0. Your former side struggling there in South Wales, Paul.
Yeah, tough start for John Eustace. I was really pleased with the appointment. I think his opportunity to go there and to take the side higher up the table, that obviously they need to get some wins, but I think it will take time. I mean, we saw the job that he did at Birmingham before he left there, and I was really pleased with his appointment.
Fleetwood have been pegged back. Fleetwood 1, Wigan 1 is the latest score in League One. Crewe are leading at home to Morecambe by a goal to 0 at Gresty Road, and a goal at Fulham. Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 1, Brighton 0. Harry Wilson, left foot, edge of the area, curler, great finish. Fulham 1, Brighton 0.
This is Bradley. Now the Forest fans find their voices as the sun comes out here at the City Ground. Elliott right side of the centre circle on the halfway line, goes square. Canate just in from that right touch line. Bradley now comes into a central area, almost as if he's playing alongside Van Dijk as Canate has stayed out wide. Liverpool continue to move around in terms of their positions, and now Gakpo is the one who's gone out towards the right hand side. Clark up alongside Luis Diaz, creates the space for Robertson on this near side, the left. Gomez in the midfield, touches it to Luis Diaz, dispossessed by Origi. McAllister wins it back for Liverpool. Certainly on top at the moment, Liverpool, in terms of seeing a good run of the ball.
The freedom that the players have got when they're in possession to interchange positions. I mean, it's only Canate and Van Dijk really who are anchored at the back, and the others in front of them, when they're in possession, they're very, very difficult to pick up. They're literally all over the place. But then when they lose possession, they quickly get back into the shape. Very, very well organised, but very difficult to play against with this interchanging of position.
Walsall are leading Doncaster by a goal to 0 in League Two. Origi quickly challenged by Robertson. And now it's with Clark to come forward. Elliott on the overlap. Clark nicks it to Robertson. He works it to Elliott, left-hand side of the penalty area. There's the cutback. McAllister with a touch. Wasn't a telling one. Headed back by Diaz. Won't fall towards Bradley. Interception from Hudson-Odoi. Counter-attack now for Nottingham Forest. Origi looks to release Elanga. Elanga is away. Flack stays down for the time being. Elanga, good save by the legs of Kelleher.
Fantastic save by Kelleher. It's a one-on-one by Elanga. I think he would have gone to VAR. He did look a touch offside, but that shows how quickly Forest can break. One ball in behind. Elanga just plays on the shoulder of Van Dijk and Canate, gets through one-on-one, and Kelleher does fantastically well. We don't know whether it would or it wouldn't have been offside, but the goalkeeper didn't know that. He stood up, he spread himself, made a really good block, but in all honesty, Elanga should do better.
Yeah, chances at either end. Still 0-0 though in the sunshine. Here is Clark coming forward now with Robertson. That sparked the Forest crowd into a little bit more life here as well. Where will we go next then on 5 Live? As Robertson keeps the ball in play, Robertson delivers the cross, headed out by Omar Bamidele, and it will go out of play no, it stays in play. Liverpool keep it in. Here is Clark with the effort, right-footed curling just over the top of the crossbar. His dad used to play at St James's Park, Lee. That's where we're going to go. It's Chris Coles.
We could do with some of your sunshine up here, pouring with rain. Newcastle leading Wolves by a goal to 0, should be 2. Dan Burn, of all people, leading a counter-attack, but his left foot shot badly wide. Newcastle 1, Wolves 0.
Newcastle are ahead. Fulham lead Brighton and Hove Albion by a goal to 0. Everton 0, West Ham 0, Brentford 0, Chelsea 0. No goals between Tottenham and Crystal Palace as Sells, the former Newcastle goalkeeper, clears away straight onto the head of Canate. His legs wide apart, heads it forward. Elliott picks it up, No other goals elsewhere around the country in the Football League to tell you about. Rangers, remember, are trailing at home to Motherwell at Ibrox at the top of the Scottish Premiership. This is 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service here at the City Ground. And Gakpo now, midway through the Forest half. Everybody bar Elanga is back behind the ball for those red shirts and white shorts as Van Dijk strides forward with real purpose from the halfway line. Luis Diaz, a little touch to Gakpo, gets it back from the Dutchman. Robertson behind him. Now finds Van Dijk. His forward ball finds Gomez in the midfield. Gomez now to Bobby Clark. Robertson goes on ahead. Here is Gakpo. Liverpool keeping the ball very, very well. Forest having to contain them as Konate spreads it out wide. Bradley almost level with the penalty area. Elliott's available. Luis Diaz goes in for that run to the penalty box. Murillo gets there first, concedes the corner. Liverpool corner, right-hand side, goalless.
Yeah, makes a clever run there, does Diaz. Diaz has been playing well. He's enjoying this run in the side that he's getting. He's got 3 goals and 2 assists in his last 5, which is more than in his previous 25. He seems like a player who needs a little bit of time, needs a run in the team, and he's certainly getting that, and he's finding some form, and that was another clever run.
That's the voice of the former England international goalkeeper Paul Robinson here on the BBC at the City Ground this afternoon. And for that Liverpool corner on the right, McAllister to take it, should be an outswinger. Gakpo, Konate, Van Dijk, in it comes now. It's aimed towards Van Dijk. Gakpo got there first. It was sliced off his left leg, and then the ball has been chipped out of play for a throw. It's a Liverpool throw that they might take quickly.
Well, they got in each other's way there, Gakpo and Van Dijk. Nottingham Forest have been really poor this season about defending set plays, and that's another example. It's an outswinger that comes across the box at head height. Gakpo swings his left foot at it just as Van Dijk's trying to head it, and the pair of them make a real mess of it when it could have been an opportunity for either.
Here is Clark. Clark strokes the ball back to Konate in the centre circle. Forest have everybody back behind the ball. Brentford-Chelsea, John Southall.
Brentford 0, Chelsea 0. Chance for Brentford. Tony into Wieser at the near post. His shot into the side netting. Wieser again, overhead kick. Good save by the keeper. Flag was up though. Brentford 0, Chelsea 0.
Konate's forward ball. Bradley sweeps it out first time. Elliott will then return the ball to Bradley. There's the cut back, edge of the area. Falls to Bobby Clark. Strikes it first time. Might fall to Luis Diaz. And he was quickly snuffed out by Murillo, who just got the block in. Diverts over the top behind for a corner kick. Liverpool again go close.
He's very brave, Murillo. Very, very brave. Liverpool work it really well. Get down that right-hand side. It's Conor Bradley who's well onside. He doesn't look up. He just pulls it back. And he actually pulls it back behind Diaz, but it works really well for Bobby Clark, who's coming at the edge of the box, scuffs his shot, ends up at the feet of Diaz 6 yards from goal, and Murillo just puts his body on the line between player and goalkeeper. Another corner for Liverpool. Fantastic defending from Murillo.
Right hand side then for Liverpool in their purple change strip. Robertson with the in-swinging corner from the right. The flick on by Bradley couldn't quite get there. Elanga almost conceded another corner and then hooks it away, and out of play it goes for a throw. Wrexham 2, Accrington 0. So Wrexham have got a second goal there at the racecourse ground, and have actually scored the most goals throughout the Football League, Phil Parkinson's side. They were joint top with 44 goals at home with Ipswich, but 2 goals will ease their, not necessarily fears, but they have wobbled 3 without a win in 3 in League 2, and looking to put pressure on the teams above them, such as Crewe, Stockport and Mansfield. Crewe, remember, are leading at home to Morecambe. Liverpool give the ball away in the centre circle. Gibbs White behind Elanga. They will reach Hudson-Odoi, far side the left. Bradley snapping at his heels, helped out by Toffolo. Toffolo delivers the cross. It's an awkward one, but brilliantly guided back by the ever so cool Van Dijk with a header to Kelleher. We'll go to Everton now. Mas Faruqi.
29 minutes played, still goalless. Best chance so far of the match, though, fallen to Beto. Remember, he's starting ahead of Calvert-Lewin, but couldn't beat Areola 6 yards out as he ran onto the ball in the area. Everton 0, West Ham 0.
Good firm challenge. Konate on Gibbs White. Referee Paul Tierney says he got the ball as Omar Bamadeli wrapped into the heels of Elliott. But what about the defending from Van Dijk?
I was going to say, can we just go back a couple of minutes and talk about that header from Van Dijk? I mean, it was an incredible piece of defending. Forest down the left-hand side, Hudson-Odoi, he whips a ball in a really pacey ball, which 2 Forest attackers are attacking. Virgil van Dijk running back towards his own goal at full pace, just heads it at full pace straight back into the chest of his goalkeeper. Brilliant and brave.
Oh, incredible defending, bearing in mind is that Luis Diaz makes the run forward. Luis Diaz gets the shot away, and from the right side of the 6-yard box he pulls it wide and it goes out for a throw. That's the beauty of BBC Sounds. You can actually rewind it and go back to it.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Should you so wish.
That will definitely make the final edit on Match of the Day tonight. That was one of the best pieces of defending that you'll see all season.
Yeah, it reared up a little bit as well. Fleetwood 1, Wigan 2. Fulham Brighton, Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 1, Brighton 0. Couple of chances for a Brighton equaliser. Lallana's just shot wide from 20 yards, and then Sisso's cleared the crossbar from a similar distance. Fulham 1, Brighton 0.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service. We are approaching the half-hour mark here at the City Ground, and it's tight. It remains 0-0. Liverpool have had, half chances?
I think both managers will be pleased. I think Forest realise that they're not going to dominate possession in a game like this against Liverpool, but they've done well. They've closed Liverpool down, and listen, they've had their opportunities on the break as well. The pace of Alanga, Origi, Hudson-Odoi. We've seen in 2 passes they've been in behind the Liverpool defence twice.
Forest with Toffolo challenges Bradley in the air, comes out, and along the ground it will roll out of play for a Liverpool throw just over the halfway line. In the Championship earlier, Bristol City 0, Cardiff 1, Huddersfield 1, Leeds United 1. So Leicester's lead was 5 minutes at the start of play as they take on Queen's Park Rangers. Pat Murphy.
They're getting frustrated here. It's goalless, but all the pressure, all the chances are going to Leicester. They've got to be careful because teams who come here to play like this, like QPR, often go away with something. Leicester 0, QPR 0.
Queen's Park Rangers just outside the relegation zone in the Championship. Bright sunshine now here at the City Ground, but in the shadows of the main stand. Luis Diaz plays the ball in field. McAllister with a layoff. Gomez on the stretch, couldn't get there. Origi, the former Liverpool man, comes under pressure. Yates then chips it downfield, cleared away again with consummate ease by Virgil van Dijk. Gomez lets it settle. The Forest crowd are trying to get on the back of referee Paul Tierney, and on this occasion he gives the free kick in favour of the home side. I've got to say though that the early decisions were right by the referee Paul Tierney.
I noticed how he said that quietly, seeing as we're surrounded by a lot of Nottingham Forest fans who are very unhappy with the referee. But you're absolutely right, the referee's made decisions and he's made calls. We've got the beauty of the monitors in front of us, we can see the decisions close up, and the referee's done very well so far.
So a free kick to Nottingham Forest. They've been playing for 32 minutes. It's quickly taken towards Elanga, but the assistant referee, and Elanga was in an offside position, and that will be a Liverpool free kick.
Cleverly worked free kick between Gibbs-White and Elanga. It's just a little bit of eye contact. Elanga makes the run, he makes it far too early. He's 3 or 4 yards behind the Liverpool defensive line, and Gibbs-White just plays him when he's in an offside position.
Kelleher plays it out short from their back. That's the voice of Paul Robinson. Out it goes to Bradley on that far side, the right, as there's been another goal at Fulham. Lee Blakeman.
2-0 to Fulham. Ball in from the right. Nobody picked up. Muniz, unmarked, free header. In it went. Fulham 2, Brighton 0.
Ball in from the right-hand side. Omabamidele went stride for stride with Luis Diaz. It goes behind for a goal kick. Let's get an update from the Formula One, the Bahrain Grand Prix. Rosanna Tennant.
Lap 18 of 57 here in Bahrain, and it's Max Verstappen who started on pole position, who still leads the race ahead of his teammate Sergio Perez, who's had a great race so far. He's ahead of Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. George Russell just off the podium positions at the moment, but lots more to come.
The start of the F1 season. Commentary continues on Sports Extra. Forest have been awarded a free kick on the halfway line. Another goal meanwhile at St James's Park, Chris Coles.
And another goal for Newcastle United, who now lead Wolves by 2-0. Anthony Gordon, goal number 10 for the season for him. Jose Sarr, the Wolves keeper, parried an Isak shot. Gordon snaffled it and fired it home. Wolves 2, Newcastle 0.
Leyton Orient 0, Bristol Rovers 1 is the latest score in League One. So we've got just over 10 minutes to go to half time. Forest for the free kick, they take it short. Gibbs-White gets it back from Omabamidele. Williams, the right back, plays it back to the central defender. Murillo is available. Liverpool will go hunting for that ball though, Paul.
They're growing into the game, Forest, aren't they? They're seeming to get a little bit of confidence. They've got this far into the game. They're starting to get a little bit of joy going forward. They're getting free kicks. The game's a little bit scrappy, and you can see this Nottingham Forest team starting to just get a little bit of belief.
Handball against Bobby Clark. Super League at Headingley, Matt Newsom.
Leeds 4, Catalan 0. They've had to be patient here at Headingley, but Ash Hanley touching down in the corner. Kick was missed. They might have just gone in again through Harry Newman. It's all looking up now for Leeds. Try on field decision.
Certainly, if you look at Forest records since Nuno Espirito Santo took charge, He's scored in all, or the Forest have scored rather, in all of his 9 Premier League games. 17 goals in total, but they've only kept 1 clean sheet during that time. But it remains 0-0 here as we are in the 35th minute of this contest here at the City Ground, as Luis Diaz heads it forward for Liverpool. Omobamidele will turn and go back to Matt Sells, the keeper. Paul.
Yeah, Nuno, as a goalkeeper, you would expect his defensive record to be a little bit more impressive than that, but I think it's a case of he's only had a very short time with the players, and he plays to the strengths of the team, and the strength of the team is the final third going forward. You look at the players that they've got, you look at the pace that they've got up front with Morgan Gibbs-White as well, the creativity. I think he's concentrated on that. I mean, in the 9 games under Nuno, they've conceded 18 goals, which is why they are where they are in the league at the moment.
Elliott on the right, McAllister's early ball cut out by Hudson-Odoi, filling in for Toffolo, who tries to get back to that left-back position. Murillo will pass the ball all the way back to Sells in all yellow to our left, hits it away towards Origi, tries to hold off his former teammate Robertson, and then we'll win a throw off the legs of Luis Diaz on this right-hand side. Bolton are leading Cambridge by 1-0 in League One. So Portsmouth 1, Oxford 1, the leaders. Derby are leading Port Vale by 1-0, and Bolton are ahead. Goal at Brentford, John Southall.
Brentford 0, Chelsea 1. Cross from the right-hand side, met by the head of Nicholas Jackson. His header nestled into the bottom left-hand corner. Just before that, he'd missed a sitter, but Chelsea lead. Brentford 0, Chelsea 1.
Pep Linders has just come across. He's burst out of the dugout down below, and he's trying to get some instructions across to Joe Gomez as Liverpool with a throw on this left-hand side. Still it remains 0-0. Comes back towards Robertson. Diaz takes it under control off his right thigh. Oh, I was about to say excellent footwork, but then the Dominguez just got a foot into the challenge at the last possible moment. Clark couldn't nick it through to Diaz on this near side, the left. It's a Liverpool throw on the halfway line, 0-0.
Yeah, just getting a little bit frustrated, Liverpool, because Forest, as I said, they're growing into this game and they're not giving Liverpool so much time now. They're setting the press. We see it now. Origi's pressing, Clark again in the midfield, and Liverpool are just not able to get any kind of rhythm going. Forest are doing really well at closing them down, getting in the faces. If not the first one, they're biting on the second ball.
It's like a 4-2-3-1 formation for Forest. Elanga's the one leading the line. Hudson-Odoi on the left, Gibbs-White centrally, and Origi to the right. Robertson to take the throw for Liverpool. Just over 8 minutes to go to half-time. It remains 0-0 on 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds. McAllister challenged and dispossessed. Hudson-Odoi towards Elanga. He knew he was offside.
He's miles offside, but that's not the first time he's done it today. He's got to time his runs. He's looking along the line. I mean, he's there. He's playing as a number 9 because of his pace and for that exact reason. And they've exploited this Liverpool defence on 2 or 3 occasions. But he's just got to be a bit more clever with his runs. He can see Konate, he can see Van Dijk. He's just got to time his runs. He knows he's quicker than both of them. He doesn't need to be that far offside. I mean, he was 4 yards offside.
The Portuguese manager, Nuno Espirito Santo, prowling in his technical area as it remains 0-0.
Never beaten Liverpool, Nuno, as a manager.
Lost all 6 Premier League meetings during his time against Liverpool. But it's 0-0, and we edging our way towards the break. Any sign of a Rangers fight back at home to Motherwell? Conor McLaughlin.
Well, Fabio Silva almost gave them just that, but it was easily saved in the end by Liam Kelly. Silva's on because Ross McCausland's off after a heavy challenge from Dan Casey. A worrying one for them, especially with Benfica in midweek. Philippe Clement will want all his squad available for that one. Rangers 0, Motherwell 1.
Wrexham 3, Accrington 0. Exeter have equalised at Peterborough. Peterborough 1, Exeter 1. Carlisle 0, Reading 2 is the latest scoreline in League One. Nottingham Forest play the ball back to Dominguez. It remains 0-0 here. Goal at Leicester in the Championship, Pat Murphy.
As forecast, QPR, they've gone 1-0 up. Willock, terrific counter-attack. Willock to Dykes, squared it across, and there was Chair to slide it in. Totally against the run of play, but they were warned, Leicester. They're 1-0 down to Brentford.
Leeds United, of course, drew 1-1 at Huddersfield earlier. Southampton have equalised at home to Birmingham, rather. So Birmingham 1, Southampton 1, and Ipswich is still drawing at Plymouth. Very, very tight at the top of the Championship. It's tight at the top of the Premier League. Liverpool came into this game on 60 points. Manchester City 59. Arsenal 58. They'll play over the course of the next 3 days. And Liverpool here have got an opportunity just to tweak the pressure at the top, but at the minute being frustrated by this Forest side.
Well, I think that's the key. I mean, you look at the top three, the title race that we've got. I think games like this are going to be key to winning the league. Who gets over the line? I think it's the points that they drop against the teams that you would expect them to beat. We know that they've got fixtures against one another, but I think it's games like this where they can ill afford to drop any points.
Here is Van Dijk. We've got Nunez and Szoboszlai both on the bench today, Jurgen Klopp. Still no Salah. There's Gomez with a ball out, headed away by Toffolo. Bradley takes it away from Toffolo very, very well on that right-hand side. 10 yards up from the byline. They've doubled up on him though. And Bradley loses the ball and Murillo can clear. Van Dijk will go across with Elanga, deals with it, forward ball. Elliott laid it back to McAllister, comes back to Elliott, heads it back to the World Cup winner now. Gomez, infield to Konate. Every outfield player bar Van Dijk is in the Forest half for Liverpool as they play from right to left, and Van Dijk now comes into Forest territory. Gakpo comes deep to collect the ball. McAllister, central position. Gakpo's continued his run. Gakpo with a header. He's headed it back rather than going to goal, and it was there at the edge of the area, and it was Origi who picked up that loose ball.
That was a fantastic ball by McAllister. A World Cup winner just looks up and Gakpo times his running behind the Forest back four, and it's a straight ball. It's one of the most difficult balls to play. He times his run, McAllister looks up and he just floats the ball over the Forest back four. Gakpo heads it back, but he heads it back to nobody. Liverpool, for all their possession, they don't look to have a real goal threat. I know Gakpo's playing there, but Diaz is dropping in. They're playing more of a false nine, if you like, with Diaz, with Gakpo, and for all the possession that they're having in the middle of the field, the final third, they're not really making that many chances.
Now this is Hudson-Odoi, strong run, gives White, lets it run through. The back pass by Robertson, hit first time away by Kelleher. So Queen's Park Rangers fighting against relegation, leading at the leaders Leicester City by a goal to nil, and Stoke City, who are in the relegation zone, are leading at home to Middlesbrough by a goal to nil. St Johnstone 0, Livingston 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership, and you're up to date with the goals as they go in. Back to the Rugby League, Matt Newsom.
Yeah, Leeds 10, Catalan 0. We almost had an 8-point try after Tarek Sims was sin-binned. Harry Newman touching down out wide. Reece Martin slotted in front of the post. Leeds 10, Catalan 0.
Nico Williams with the throw for Forest on the right. Van Dijk there first. Omobamidele heads it down this near right touchline for Forest. Gomez leaps, plays it up, rides up the chest of Elliott. Not too sure what the Forest fans were saying about handball for. Bobby Clark down the line. Omobamidele puts it out of play for a Liverpool throw.
Done well, Forest. They've started off quite slowly, allowed Liverpool possession, but they've grown into the game with the pace that they've got. They've just got a little bit more belief. And the last 5 to 10 minutes, you would say that Forest have had the better of the game.
But it remains 0-0. We've got under 3 minutes of normal time remaining to half-time. Murillo throws Elliott. They're even complaining about that. It's something you'd see in the wrestling ring as Elliott gets a free kick for Liverpool. He's back to his feet. Rolls it out to Robertson. There's a hush once again inside the City ground.
Strangely quiet, isn't it? I mean, the atmosphere before the game we spoke about, it was fantastic, but even from the Liverpool supporters away to our right, shielding their eyes from the sun and behind the goal, it's strangely quiet.
There's so much at stake for both sides. I mean, I know earlier on you said about the corridor of uncertainty, and sometimes you'd hear that in cricketing parlance, wouldn't you? And then I remember sometimes you'd listen back to TMS in the old days, and they'd say, imagine the scoreline, but add on 2 more wickets and see how that changes the scoreline as Elanga. And that's a little bit like Forest in terms of their position at the relegation at the minute. You've got to look at that relegation situation and think, what's it going to look like with 6 points deducted potentially for Everton and Forest, and then it changes the whole dynamic.
Well, I think it's that. Listen, that's a conversation in itself. I don't see how we're going to go into the last few games of the season not knowing what you need. You're going to have managers setting up teams to maybe get a draw. You get 3 points, or you get a draw away from home. You celebrate, you think fantastic, and then all of a sudden you've got points taken off you after the season. I mean, it's the time scale for me is baffling.
Yeah, I would imagine that both clubs are likely to appeal. That therefore would mean that the issue would not necessarily be resolved, but it's got to be resolved by May the 24th, but that's after the season has already finished. Wrexham 4, Accrington 0, Shrewsbury 0, Blackpool 1, Birmingham 2, Southampton 1 are latest scores in League 2, League 1 and the Championship here on BBC Radio 5 Live. 60 seconds remain. The chanting has been sporadic from the home supporters inside the City ground. It remains 0-0. Penalty at Goodison Park. Maz Faruqi.
And it's for Everton. Beto's preparing to take this. Craig Pawson was asked to go to the pitch side monitor. A handball. Beto striking the arm. Beto striking the arm of Kurt Zouma. His left arm. It was way out from outside his body. Craig Pawson just reminding all the West Ham players to stay outside the box. He blows his whistle now. Beto with the run up. And it's saved. Areola gets the right direction. Not a particularly powerful strike. Everton's penalty saved. It remains goalless here.
Dominguez hooks it goal as it's going to tailingly run wide. I mentioned that there'd been another goal at St Andrews. Sheridan Robbins.
Yeah, Birmingham 2, Southampton 1. Despite equalising and dominating possession, they left Jay Stansfield on his own. He looped the ball over Bazunu, and it's Birmingham 2, Southampton 1.
We're about to find out how much stoppage time there will be here at the City ground. Just the additional 60 seconds, which we're now into. Missed opportunity for Everton. Remember, 6 without a win. Everton at home to West Ham United.
If you don't like seeing goals, go to Goodison. I think it's the Premier League ground that's seen the fewest goals this season.
We've yet to see one here at the City ground. Paul Robinson is with us on BBC Radio 5 Live. Salford 0, Gillingham 1 is the latest score in League 2. Stephen Clements' side are ahead there. Liverpool have got a throw, level with the penalty area. Take it quickly. Bradley looking for Bobby Clark. Hudson-Odoi turns, brings the ball away for Forest. Midway through his own half, he runs up towards the halfway line, releases it down that left touch line, that far side as they play from left to right. And it runs out for a throw, and Van Dijk back towards Kelleher. You wouldn't say that neither goalkeeper has been seriously tested. There was that Murillo block from the ball that was played in, but almost rebound towards Luis Diaz, but that's been about it as the half-time whistle sounds.
Yeah, as far as goal-mouth opportunities and goal-scoring chances go, that we've been starved of them. I think they've really cancelled each other out. Both managers have been very tactically aware. They've set up in a way where they've stopped each other playing.
In fact, probably just thinking about the Kelleher one on Ilanga.
The Ilanga one-on-one, that's probably the best opportunity of the game, if indeed it would have stood because of the offside.
Chances at a premium. Half-time at the City ground. Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 0.
Gillingham have taken the lead at Salford in League 2 just on the stroke of half-time, and Derby have just doubled their lead at home to Port Vale. Dwight Gale has got that for Paul Warne's side. Back to Goodison, where Everton missed that penalty. Maz.
Yeah, Beto's strike, it wasn't hit with much conviction, to be honest, with too much power. Quite an easy save low down to his left for Alphonse Areola. We're into the second of 4 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half. A reminder, Beto starting instead of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who has been warming up on the sidelines here in the first half, but so far it's been a match for him to forget at the moment with that penalty saved in the 45th minute here. Still Everton 0, West Ham 0.
Still playing at Tottenham, where it's also goalless. Henry Moran.
I rather wish they weren't. This has been incredibly tedious, I have to say. It's Tottenham 0, Crystal Palace 0, and actually it's credit to Oliver Glasner, because he set this Palace side up so well. They'd gone 14 games without a clean sheet prior to his arrival. They're backing up last weekend shutout with a really solid defensive display. Timo Werner, the one big opportunity, and saved by Johnston. Deep in added time, Tottenham 0, Palace 0.
Let's go to Craven Cottage next. Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 2, Brighton 0. It's all been about Harry Wilson so far. Great goal to give Fulham the lead. Got the assist for the second, which was headed in by the unmarked Muniz. Down the other end, Brighton have been really disappointing, hardly testing Leno at all. We're deep into stoppage time. Fulham leading Brighton 2-0.
In the lunchtime game in the Championship, well, there were 2 lunchtime games, but the one affecting the top of the table finished Huddersfield 1, Leeds 1. It means the gap between Leeds and Leicester is down to 5, and as things stand, it would stay at 5 because, Pat Murphy,
QPR are leading 1-0. They don't deserve it, but their game plan has been sensible. Suck Leicester into their half, frustrate them, hit them on the break, and it worked perfectly. 5 minutes for half-time. Chair on the far post rolling in after a quick, incisive move. But where were the defenders to mark Chair on the far post? A lot of boos at half-time. Leicester had all the possession but hardly a chance. Leicester 0, QPR 1.
The other lunchtime game in the Championship, by the way, went the way of Cardiff as they won by a 1-0 at Bristol City. Let's go back to the Premier League. John Southall at Brentford.
Brentford 0, Chelsea 1. Chelsea dominated possession. They've carved out 2 chances, taken one of them just before the goal. Nicholas Jackson rounded the keeper. His effort cleared off the line. Should have scored that. He took the second. Gusto crossed from the right. Jackson got in between the 2 centre-halves and headed in. Good header, poor defending. Brentford just lacking a cutting edge. Johan Wieser 2 chances, one over the bar and the second into the side netting. He's never won on his birthday in the Premier League. Maurizio Pochettino, half-time, Brentford 0, Chelsea 1.
So pre-match at St James's Park, we spent a lot of the time talking about how vulnerable Newcastle were and how great Wolves have been recently. So of course, Chris Coles?
Of course, it's Newcastle who lead Wolves by 2-0. It really has been roles reversed because Wolves have dominated the ball and Newcastle have looked good on the counter-attack, and that's where their 2 goals have come from. The first headed in by Alexander Isak following a deflected Bruno Guimaraes cross. The second powered home by Anthony Gordon, that after Jose Sarr spilled Jacob Murphy's low cross. There was Gordon to power home his 10th of the season. As I say, all of the ball for Wolves, but they're doing very little with it. Mario Lemina heading their best chance over from 6 yards. Newcastle 2, Wolves 0.
Bearing in mind so little has happened in the first half, I'm guessing we're going back to Henry Moran now just for him to tell us that the half-time whistle has gone.
Half-time, Tottenham 0, Crystal Palace 0.
Thank you very much to Maz Faruqi, who I'm guessing is probably going to say exactly the same thing at Goodison.
Exactly the same thing. Everton 0, West Ham 0. That penalty saved by Beto's penalty saved by Areola in the 45th minute. Pretty much the only thing to report. 0-0.
Barnsley have just equalised at Wickham. They're fourth at the moment in League One are Barnsley. And Sam Cosgrove has just scored for Neil Collins' side. They've lost just one of their last 17 of Barnsley and they are back on level terms at Adams Park. Back to the Cottage, Lee.
Fulham 2, Brighton 0. Comfy for Marco Silva's team. Ahead after 21. Harry Wilson with a left-footed curler from the edge of the area. Wilson turning provider 9 minutes later. Cross from the right. Put it right on the head of Muniz, who powered it past Steele. Fulham 2, Brighton 0.
So it's quite interesting in the Championship at the moment. Leeds drew earlier. Leicester are behind. They're the leaders. Southampton are behind as well, although still waiting for the half-time whistle to go at St Andrews. So this could be a big afternoon for Ipswich. They're at Plymouth. John Akers.
0-0 at half-time. Plymouth 0, Ipswich 0. And they haven't been at their fluent best, Ipswich. Plymouth have done really well. In fact, they've had the best chance of the half. Miller, a volley, cleared off the line brilliantly by Luke Wolfenden. It was a super block. It was a good strike from Miller. Their best chance, Ipswich. Kiefer Moore, a header, a Devon boy, saved by Hazard. It's Plymouth 0, Ipswich 0.
So if you're a bit lower down the table, then this could be a great afternoon for you. So let's go to Deepdale. This is Preston in 8th against Hull in 6th. Sani Rajavajala.
Well, Mark, the way these two play, it's been a really open game of football, end to end. Away side, though, has been the better. They've had the better chances. Preston keeper Freddie Woodman at full stretch to parry from Fabio Carvalho from distance. That would have been a spectacular fourth in Hull colours since his loan from Liverpool. Quite a few, though, in Lily White who can get the home fans on the feet, so expect a response from North End after the break. But at the moment, it's goalless. Half-time, Preston 0, Hull 0.
It's goalless in a lot of places at the moment, including at Rotherham, Catherine.
Yep, scrappy, physical stuff, chappers. Just what you'd expect from a derby between two sides fighting for their championship survival. Sheffield Wednesday should be ahead. They've had one goal disallowed because Akin Famewo was offside when his header connected with a free kick. But I've noted down chances for half the Wednesday squad, it seems. For Rotherham, it's mostly been scrambling, desperate defence. Half-time, Rotherham 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
0-0s keep coming. Flo Pollock.
Yes, they do. Norwich 0, Sunderland 0. Both sides hampered by very wet conditions here in Norfolk. Norwich's Boya Sainz with the best chance, lashing a half volley just over. Little to do for either goalkeeper. Half-time, Norwich 0, Sunderland 0.
In the three games we aren't at in the Championship, there have been goals in all of them. Wouldn't you just know it? So Millwall lead Watford by a 0-0. Zion Fleming has got that. That's 8 for the season for him. Stoke lead Middlesbrough by a 0-0. They've lost 6 of their last 7 of Stephen Schumacher's side, but they lead at the break through Bai Jun Ho. And Swansea are 2-0 up on Blackburn. John Eustace still hasn't got a win as Blackburn manager, and they are behind at Swansea. Joe Allen with the first, and then Jamie Patterson with his 7th of the season, the difference between the two sides there. One of the games that we are at that has had goals, the half-time whistle has just gone. Birmingham, Southampton, Sheridan Robbins.
Yes, Birmingham 2, Southampton 1. It took only 2 minutes for Bakuna to fire the ball out wide to Miyoshi. He made no mistake with a great finish into the top left-hand corner. But Adam Armstrong equalised for his 17th goal of the season, beating the offside trap. But Jay Stansfield, ice in his veins, of a lovely ball from Dion Sanderson 3 minutes before the break to retake the lead for Birmingham. But Southampton have hit the woodwork 3 times. Half-time, Birmingham 2, Southampton 1.
Let's go into League One. We're with the leaders this afternoon, Portsmouth, who are being held at the break. Paul Scott.
Yes, at half-time it is Portsmouth 1, Oxford 1. Quite good fun, this one. Callum Lang's opener after just 90 seconds, putting Pompey ahead. His shot squirming under goalkeeper Jamie Cumming. 6 minutes later, it was 1-1. Cameron Brannigan converting from the spot after a clumsy challenge from Sean Raggett, who brought down Owen Dale. Oxford have had really good chances. Harris, Stevens, Murphy and Dale have all gone close, but at half-time in this one, it's Portsmouth 1, Oxford 1.
So opportunities for sides below to take advantage maybe. Bolton in third are doing just that. They lead Cambridge by 1-0. At the break, Carlisle got their first win in 9 during the week when they won at Burton, but back to their usual ways this afternoon. They trailed Reading by 2-0 at the break. Harvey Nibbs got the second of those Reading goals, 14 for the season for him. Goalless between Cheltenham and Burton. Derby a 2-0 up on Port Vale at the break. Dwight Gale getting the second of those. Cracking game at Fleetwood this afternoon. They went 1-0 up at home to Wigan. Wigan then went 2-1 up, and at the break they go in all level at 2-2. Leyton Orient are trailing at home to Bristol Rovers by 1-0. That's scored by Chris Martin, 15 for the season for him. Goalless between Lincoln and Stevenage. Charlton, who got just their second away win in the league this season during the week at Derby, lead away from home again this afternoon at Northampton. Northampton 0, Charlton 1, Peterborough 1, Exeter 1. Efron Mason-Clark 17th of the season, putting the home side ahead. Tom Carroll equalising for Exeter. Shrewsbury 0, Blackpool 1, and Barnsley in 4th are being held at Wickham at the break. Wickham 1, Barnsley 1. Into League 2, earlier AFC Wimbledon scored in stoppage time to beat MK Dons by 1-0. The games at Bradford, at Colchester and at Crawley have all been postponed. We're with the leaders Mansfield, who are at Newport. Owain Gwyneth.
Yes, Newport 0, Mansfield 0. It's strangely been an entertaining and enjoyable half, albeit without too much goalmouth action. Mansfield's Ollie Clark should have done better when he, on the turn, found himself free in the box either side of Townsend, and Mansfield could have been 1-up. The only other effort of note was a long-range strike from the Stags' top scorer Davis Keller-Dunn, but he never troubled the keeper. Newport looked dangerous on the break, with Will Evans always lurking with intent. Newport 0, Mansfield 0.
Elsewhere, Crewe in a great run of form. They've lost just one of their last 11. They're in third. They lead at the break through their top scorer Elliot Nevitt. That's 14 for the season. It's Crewe 1, Morecambe 0. Grimsby are on course for their first win in 8. They lead Forest Green Rovers, who are next to bottom, by 1-0. Salford, who've lost just once under their new manager Carl Robinson, are behind at the break to Stephen Clemens' Gillingham. Salford 0, Gillingham 1. It's goalless between Swindon and Harrogate and Tranmere and Sutton. Walsall lead Doncaster by 1-0, and Wrexham are thrashing Accrington Stanley at the break. Wrexham 4, Accrington Stanley 0. Paul Mullin has hit a first half hat-trick to take him to 16 for the season. Elliot Lee got the other one, 15 for the season for him. In the National League earlier, leaders Chesterfield beaten 4-1 at Dorking. At half-time, AFC Fylde 1, Maidenhead 0, Borehamwood 1, Gateshead 0, Bromley 1, FC Halifax 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 1, Altrincham 1, Eastleigh 2, Solihull Moors 0, Ebbsfleet 1, Rochdale 1, Hartlepool behind at the break to Barnet, Hartlepool 0, Barnet 2, Oldham 0, Southend 0, and Oxford City 1, Aldershot 2. Woking Kidderminster was postponed, and it's York 1, Wealdstone 1. Earlier in the Women's Super League, Manchester City beat Everton by 2-1. Into the Scottish Premiership, listen to this score from Ibrox. Connie McLaughlin.
Rangers 0, Motherwell 1 at half-time. Yeah, it definitely wasn't what a lot of people were anticipating for this first half, but it was Theo Blair stunned the home fans with that early opener for Motherwell. John Souttar didn't clear the initial shot from Jack Vale. It fell to Blair and then he squeezed the shot past Jack Butland. They went a goal down, remember, against Kilmarnock in midweek. They came back to win the game. Can they do it again? this afternoon. Remember, they were hoping to go 5 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership with Celtic playing tomorrow. I can guarantee you half of the city will be watching this second half with interest, and I say that I think interest may be putting it mildly. Half time it is Rangers 0, Motherwell 1.
Dundee 1, Kilmarnock 1, Hibs 0, Ross County 0, St Johnstone 0, Livingston 1, St Mirren 0, Aberdeen 1. The other scores in the Scottish Premiership. In the Scottish Championship, it is Airdrieonians 0, Queen's Park 1, Dunfermline 2, Ayr 0, Morton 0, Inverness 2, and Dundee United trail at the break. They're the leaders of the Championship, but they are 1-0 down at Partick Thistle. Into League 1, Edinburgh City 0, Cove Rangers 1, Falkirk 0, Annan 0, Kelty Hearts 0, Hamilton 3, Montrose 2, Alloa 2, and Queen of the South 1, Stirling 1. In Scottish League 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Stenhousemuir 0, Clyde 0, Elgin 1, Dumbarton 0, Peterhead 0, Spartans 1, East Fife 1, and Stranraer 0, Forfar 0. Half-time in Super League, Leeds lead Catalan by 10 points to 2. We'll get details of that shortly. Also from the Grand Prix in Bahrain, which you can listen to on Sports Extra here on 5 Live, exactly 4 o'clock. And the latest news is with Jill Mackenzie.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The US has delivered its first airdrop of aid to Gaza. Officials say more than 38,000 meals were parachuted from 3 military planes. Meanwhile, UN representatives have visited a hospital in Gaza and say many of the Palestinians who were injured at an aid delivery on Thursday have gunshot wounds. The Hamas-run health ministry says more than 100 people were killed. Israel says its forces did open fire, but says most of the dead were crushed in a stampede. The BBC understands the government's considering ways to tackle what it sees as growing threats to democracy, including possibly changing the definition of extremism. Yesterday, the Prime Minister warned of forces at home trying to tear us apart. And a British registered cargo ship that was attacked by Iranian-backed Houthi fighters 2 weeks ago is reported to have sunk. The Ruby Mar is the first vessel to have been lost since the Houthis began targeting commercial shipping.
Thank you very much, Jill. So the Grand Prix is on Sports Extra with Max Verstappen leading the way. You can listen to the conclusion there. And as I say, Leeds 10, Catalan 2 in Super League. Every try from every game on the BBC Sport website this season. Second half about to get underway at the City Ground. Goalless between Forest and Liverpool. Paul Robinson and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Mark. Yes, Paul Tierney just looking at his wrist as now the tide has made a change and we are back underway in the second half, and what a 45 minutes lies ahead at both ends of the table in the Premier League here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Nottingham Forest in their red shirts, white shorts and red socks have Sells in goal, Williams, Murillo, Omar-Bamadeli and Toffolo, Gibbs-White, Yates, Dominguez, Ilanga, Origi and Hudson-Odoi. For Liverpool in their change strip of all purple, they have Kelleher, then they have Bradley, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson, with Gomez in the midfield with McAllister and Clark, Elliott, Gakpo and Luis Diaz. On Sports Extra at the moment is the Bahrain Grand Prix. We can get an update. Rosanna Tennant.
We've completed 37 laps of 57 here in Bahrain. Max Verstappen has a commanding lead over his teammate Sergio Perez, 18 seconds separating the two drivers, and it's Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari in P3. George Russell has pitted twice. He's back up to P4, challenging for a podium position this evening.
Sports Extra for the Formula One for that opening race of the new season. Nottingham Forest then are attacking the Trent End in their red shirts and white shorts from right to left. Hudson-Odoi rolls Bradley, left-hand side of the penalty area. Liverpool, though, got plenty of purple shirts back. Hudson-Odoi will go central. Early ball in from Yates, finds Dominguez. Edge of the box for Forest, threatening. Toffolo stays on side, stands over the cross towards the far post, over the head of Origi. Kept in play by another former Liverpool player in Nico Williams. Williams now delivers the cross from the right-hand side, and Elliott twists his upper body to head the ball away. Hudson-Odoi keeps it in on this near side the left, then gets it back from Toffolo. They're out of the traps very quickly here at Forest. Gibbs-White, edge of the area, goes into the box. Dominguez turns, shoots, blocks, and then Yates picks it back up for Forest. Well, you can see what the message was from Nuno Espirito Santo, Paul Robinson.
Yeah, he'll be pleased with his team, the way that they played in the first half, and you can see the way that they've come out in this second half. He's just asked them for that little bit more belief, that little bit more urgency, He's seen his team grow in belief, he's seen his team grow in confidence that they can get something from this Liverpool game. He's seen that they can hurt them, they can get in behind them, and his team have certainly come out the traps in this second half.
Come on, you Reds, is the chant from the Forest fans inside the City ground, as then they roll the ball back to Matt Sells, the goalkeeper, hits it long downfield, and he's overhit that, goes straight through to Kelleher. So in the Premier League at the moment, Everton, remember, missing that penalty at home to West Ham United at Goodison Park. So Everton 0, West Ham United 0, Brentford 0, Chelsea 1. As a cross comes in from the left-hand side. Ball fired in by Clark at the near post. Right call to Bradley, stopped by Toffolo. Fulham lead Brighton 2-0. Newcastle are 2-0 up at home to Wolves. Spurs 0, Crystal Palace 0, and goalless, of course, here. No goals elsewhere to tell you about early in the stages of the second half. Origi's forward ball easily cut out by Van Dijk. They had looked for Elanga. Ball played forward to right again, cut out by Van Dijk for Forest. Yates picks it up in the midfield, just outside the centre circle. Then it goes back to Omar Bamadeli. The Irish international collects it from Murillo, who has been a mainstay in this Forest side since he arrived, the Brazilian. Origi, first time he's faced Liverpool since he left Anfield. Towards Williams, the two Anfield old boys combining, headed out by Gomez. Diaz now midway through his own half picks it up. Liverpool playing from left to right as we look. They're attacking the Bridgeford end of the ground. For those of you who know the City ground, where 2/3 of that bottom tier in the end away towards our right are housed by Liverpool supporters, and they have a free kick. Paul.
Well, this is better, isn't it? I mean, the first half was, we talked about the lull, the atmosphere, and I think obviously the teams contributed to that. It was played at a slower pace. The pace has certainly picked up already in this second half. In the 2 or 3 minutes that we've had, the crowd seem more livelier, noisier, and both teams have definitely upped the pace in the game.
Here is McAllister, gets away from Dominguez, he accelerates midway through the Forest half, tries to get away from Yates, plays it out towards Elliott, right corner of the area. Bradley down the line into the box with a cut back. Diaz lets it run through. Robertson deflecting wide. Corner kick. Liverpool were so close to the opening goal, and Robertson knows it.
I think that's Omar Bamadeli on the goal line. It's a fantastic ball to the far post. It's Conor Bradley. Harvey Elliott just slips him in. He gets a cut back. Dominguez takes it off the toes of Diaz, and Robertson's there on the corner of the 6-yard box at the far side, beats the goalkeeper, but Omar Bamadeli's there, puts his body on the line and saves a certain goal.
McAllister waits to take the corner kick, near side the right for Liverpool. You'd look for Van Dijk as the corner comes in from the right. It's an outswinger, it was aimed towards the Dutchman. Gibbs White prevented it from reaching him. Gomez in the midfield to Elliott. Gomez then plays it out towards McAllister, off the chest, looked like handball in the build-up as he fires this one in, strikes the head of Murillo, then he leaps into that challenge again, and then it's hooked away by Toffolo, and then the referee Paul Tierney will give a free kick in favour of Nottingham Forest, and they take it quickly with Dominguez, but no. The referee wants to check on Murillo first of all, still 0-0.
I'm not surprised he wants to check on Murillo. McAllister hit that on the half volley with some force, and Murillo, no fear at all, just put his body in between himself and the goal, and it really whacked him on the head. It was McAllister, it looked like a handball, took it on his chest, got into the corner of the box, and he walloped a half volley. And Murillo took the blow full on the head, really brave defending.
0-0 here. What about Fulham? Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 2, Brighton 0. Brighton starting the second half much better. Estupiñán with the corner, Dunk with a header, good save by Leno, and Roberto De Zerbi at half-time has brought on Adingra and Ansu Fati. Fulham 2, Brighton 0.
Sells, the Forest goalkeeper, inside the D, right-footed, looking for the run of Origi coming in off that right touchline, goes out of play. It's a Forest throw. Nico Williams at a gentle walking pace will take the throw. Goal at Brentford, John Southall.
Brentford have got one back. Brentford 1, Chelsea 1 early in the second half. Max Roerslev with his second ever goal for the club. The original effort was saved by the keeper, and there was Roerslev 4 yards out to poke it into the corner. Brentford 1, Chelsea 1.
The League Two leaders, Mansfield Town, have just taken the lead at Newport County. Newport County 0, Mansfield 1. Nigel Clough's side have won 4 of their last 5, and they went into that game just level ahead of Stockport County, who are still drawing at Colchester. And news of it from Owain Gwyneth.
Yeah, George Maris with the goal for Mansfield. The ball played in from the left-hand side here, and Boateng with the cross, and the ball flicked in by Maris. Boateng making amends for a free header he missed minutes earlier. It's Newport 0, Mansfield 1.
In the Premier League, at the top of the table, Liverpool still being held by relegation threatened Nottingham Forest. 7 minutes into the second period, as we go to Ibrox, and there could be a twist in the title race. Conor McLaughlin.
There could, but there isn't so far. Rangers 0, Motherwell 1. It was Cyril Desters who thought he'd actually brought Rangers level, a close range header into the back of the net, but I think he knew himself that he was offside. He turned and looked to his right hand side. The assistant referee said no goal, offside, and he just sort of managed to move his way back with his head down a little bit. Philippe Clement, the Rangers manager, just saying calm down a little bit. Rangers 0, Motherwell 1.
Elliott right hand side. Elliott then, every outfield player is in the Forest half, away towards our right hand side, playing from left to right. Now it's out to that far side. Robertson plays it in field to Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz waits. McAllister controls it just over 25 yards out. Central position, goes square. Canate joins the attack for Liverpool. Out to Bradley, right corner of the area. Waiting, trying to prise open with this patient approach of the Forest defence as Van Dijk strokes it towards Robertson.
Look good in possession, Liverpool. Very, very comfortable, and that's what they have. They have a possession-based game, but they're not really hurting Nottingham Forest. They need to be more penetrative, get down the sides, get in behind them, and get in behind this back four and create opportunities.
Ball in field from Bradley. Gomez returns it to Bradley. They're round the back here now, and then Bradley with the cross cut out, and out it goes for a Liverpool throw about 10 yards up from the corner flag on this near side, the right. Conor Bradley, every time I've seen him, he is impressed. The Northern Ireland international, versatile. He can play in an advanced role as he is at this occasion. He's not shy in getting forward, is he? As Liverpool. No, it goes out for a goal kick. I thought they got a corner with Bobby Clark there, but it's a goal kick instead.
Got real quality, Conor Bradley, hasn't he? I mean, for somebody who's come into the first team this season, and he's settled in the way that he has and the way that he's adapted, to the point of, after such a small handful of games, people are questioning, what does Jurgen Klopp do? Where does Trent play? They're, questioning, does Conor Bradley play or does Trent play? That's the biggest compliment that you can pay the young man.
The moment at the top of League Two, with Mansfield leading, Crewe now leading Morecambe by 2 goals to 0. They've got a second as Forest are on the attack far side. Williams towards Gibbs-White. Canate snuffs out the chance. Gibbs-White fell over, out for a goal kick. And Wrexham winning convincingly at home. Stockport County second in the table, still drawing at Colchester. Will be feeling a little bit of the pressure there as we will go to Headingley in the Rugby League. Matt Newsom.
Yeah, Leeds 10 in Catalan 2. Leeds 2 chances, 2 tries. Catalan failing to take their opportunities, and that's why it is as it is. Just as Chris Sartai scores for Catalan, and they are on the board. Leeds 10, Catalan 6, kick to come.
Don't forget commentary on Sports Extra of the Bahrain Grand Prix. This is BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service. We're also available on the BBC Sounds app for this vital game at the top of the table. Nottingham Forest against Liverpool. 10 minutes into the second half. Swindon 0, Harrogate 1 is the latest score in League 2. Tomorrow Bournemouth are at Burnley. Commentary from Turf Moor at 1. And then Manchester City, Manchester United. Commentary from 3:30 on 5 Live. Elliott with the layoff for Liverpool, prevented with Yates. Got a little gloomier now in the East Midlands as the ball goes out on that far side, and Gomez will take the throw for Liverpool. 0-0.
It's dropped a degree or two, hasn't it? It's got very dark, and all of a sudden you can notice that the floodlights are on. Just as we do that, Darwin Núñez comes out to warm up for Liverpool, and I think that's something that they've been missing with Gakpo playing as a false 9. They haven't really had that figurehead, and if Núñez is to come on, the game could change.
Forgive me, the game at Colchester Stockport was postponed due to a waterlogged pitch, as was Bradford Notts County. Not surprised it was a quagmire at Valley Parade, and Crawley Barrow was also postponed. So Dave Challinor will still have that game in hand. Newport, though, with all the sides around him certainly taking full advantage. You forget that we've had such decent weather here today, that elsewhere around the country it's been quite sodden. As Bobby Clark, far side, challenge comes in on him, goes behind. Liverpool get a corner far side to left.
Yeah, another set play for Liverpool. Forest have done well so far today defending set plays, and set plays have been their Achilles heel this season.
12 minutes into the second half, so in front of the travelling support, 0-0. Liverpool, and there is activity on the bench down below. I think Endo is going to be coming on. He was terrific last week in that League Cup final against Chelsea at Wembley. Far side, the left. Robertson with the corner kick. It's an outswinger. It's high in the air. Over the head of Van Dijk. Falls to Elliott. Left-footed volley blocked. Rebounds. Headed out by Williams. And again, because of the head injury from the Elliott volley, there's going to be a stoppage in play. It's Yates who's gone down and Paul Tierney not taking any chances. Nunez and Endo are coming off the bench for Liverpool. We'll go to Brentford for an update. John Southall.
Brentford 1, Chelsea 1, but Brentford just beginning to purr. Vitaly Janelt on the edge of the penalty area. His shot hit the base of the right-hand post. They're a different side in this second half, Brentford. Brentford 1, Chelsea 1.
St James's Park. Chris Coles.
Newcastle 2, Wolves 0, but another big injury problem for Newcastle in a season of injury problems. Kieran Trippier has limped off holding his calf, went down off the ball, tried to run it off, shook his head, and Tino Livramento is on in his place. Newcastle leading Wolves by 2-0.
Still yet to resume. We can go to Tottenham. Henry Moran.
Closest that we've come to a goal. Tottenham with the opportunity. Kulusevski's cross. There was Son sweeping the ball towards the near post, and it cannoned against that near post. Tottenham 0, Palace 0.
Fulham Brighton, Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 2, Brighton 0. Here come Fulham looking for a third ball across the face of goal, taken by the keeper. Pereira's just curled one wide from 15 yards, and Wilson's gone close for Fulham 2, leading by just the 2-0.
Still 0-0 here. Diaz heads it forward to Gakpo. Murillo is there. The little flick by Origi didn't quite come off. The groans from the Forest crowd might tell you that. McAllister to Gomez, runs forward for Liverpool, carves the ball out towards the left-hand side. Robertson with a cross, headed away by Omar Bamadeli. And then there was a coming together with Robertson over on that far side into Nico Williams, and he might be going in the book. To complete the set elsewhere in the Premier League, Maz Faruqi.
55 minutes played, still Everton 0, West Ham 0, no subs made by either side at half-time. McNeil with a decent strike from the D on the half volley, forcing the scrambling save from Areola a couple of minutes ago, but still goalless.
Leicester City were behind to Queen's Park Rangers. There's been a goal in the Championship. Pat Murphy.
They're now 2-0 down, and Sinclair Armstrong, who's just come on the substitute, his first touch, a pulverising right foot volley 15 yards out from a knockdown from a free kick. What a start for Sinclair Armstrong. Big challenge for Leicester. Leicester 0, QPR 2.
Well, that certainly makes it very, very interesting. And Leeds United, with that 1-1 draw at Huddersfield in the early game, will be a 5-point lead. Leicester's advantage has been cut to. So the double change is being made now for Liverpool, but whilst that is happening, a goal at Goodison. Maz Faruqi.
Finally, they have their goal. Beto has just bundled this in, not the prettiest, but he celebrated that one. It means an awful lot. Remember, he missed a penalty in the 45th minute, but he's put Everton ahead. Everton 1, West Ham 0.
So Wataru Endo is on. Darwin Nunez, who's missed the last 3 games with a knock, he comes on as well. It is Bobby Clark and Andrew Robertson, who's just been booked, who's gone off. So Gomez will switch to left back automatically for Liverpool. Bradley's obviously at right back as Nunez picks up this ball now, and Nunez, looking for an instant impact here at the City ground, will hook the ball goalwards, and it'll be gathered by Sells. To heading in the Rugby League, Matt Newsom.
Yeah, Leeds 10, Catalan 8. They're really clawing it back now, this side from Perpignan. Chris Sarte's made a big impact off the bench. Artur Morg slot in the goal, 10-8.
Going to be a busy end to the next half an hour. As Kelleher almost caught by the pressing of Elanga, but he squeezed it past him.
Certainly brave goalkeeping that, isn't it? Playing out from the back, allowing Elanga to get that close, and then he just threads the ball through the middle to the edge of his 18-yard box to Endo. But those 2 changes for Liverpool, it means that Gomez does revert to left back, Endo into midfield in place of Clark, and then Gakpo just drops into a slightly deeper role in behind Darwin Nunez.
Awonyi's going to be coming on for Nottingham Forest. He's just been summoned by Nuno Espirito Santo. It's tight at the City ground. It remains 0-0. And Awonyi is getting stripped for action. He, of course, got the only goal in the victory here last season. As Luis Diaz, left corner of the area. Gomez plays it square. Elliott just outside the D, looks for a shooting opportunity, blocked by Dominguez. Said earlier that it was getting a little gloomier. Well, now the rain is sweeping in, wet conditions, as Elliott plays it out towards Diaz. Luis Diaz enters the penalty area down towards the byline. Williams with excellent defending. A goal at Tottenham. Henry Moran.
Tottenham 0, Crystal Palace 1. Eberechi Eze back in the side, firing the ball direct from a free kick into the top corner. Tottenham 0, Palace 1.
Hibs lead Ross County by 1-0 in the Scottish Premiership. Carlisle 0, Reading 3 is the latest score as Carlisle continue to struggle in League One. Corner kick for Liverpool, 0-0. How long we've been playing? 62 minutes. Corner kick then that far side. Forest have got everybody back. McAllister take it. It's an in-swinger. Headed out by Omobamidele, headed back by Endo. Murillo then heads it out from inside his penalty area. Gibbs-White tries to turn. McAllister will see this one back. There's been a goal at Ibrox. Conor McLaughlin.
James Tavernier, the captain, has brought Rangers level. 2 games in a row. He's done it at the same time in the match. 55 minutes, a special number for Rangers. They're level. Rangers 1, Motherwell 1.
Celtic, remember, at Hearts tomorrow for a 12 o'clock kick-off. Vocal encouragement from Nottingham Forest supporters. Here is Van Dijk towards Gomez, but it's Liverpool who have the possession at the moment as it's still locked, waiting for the first goal. There's a third of the afternoon has just been scored elsewhere in the East Midlands. Pat Murphy.
Leicester 1, QPR 2 from Ben Nelson, the centre-back. Corner not properly cleared, Begovic palmed it out. Calm left foot finish from Nelson.
Nunez fires the ball into the side netting. Wickham 2, Barnsley 2 is the latest score in League One. And a goal at St Andrews in the Championship, Sheridan Robbins.
Birmingham 2, Southampton 2. They've had to do defending 10 minutes into this second half, but David Brooks fired the ball into the top corner and he's got another chance. It's just cleared. Birmingham 2, Southampton 2.
Divock Origi is coming off. Taiwo Wanyi is going to replace him. And Divock Origi getting a lovely ovation from the travelling support, chanting his name. They'll never forget his contribution.
He's certainly scored some vital goals in a red shirt, hasn't he, over the years? And it's not a red shirt at Nottingham Forest, it was the one of Liverpool. And those supporters obviously hold those memories very fondly.
175 appearances and 41 goals. But never forget the goal that he scored against Barcelona in a Champions League semi-final, and then to add to that against Tottenham in the actual final in Madrid. So Awoniyi is on to replace him. First time he's ever come up against Liverpool. We're back underway and at 0-0. And Gakpo, right corner of the area. Liverpool in their changed purple strip, playing from left to right. Ball with interception from Hudson-Odoi. 65 minutes played. Liverpool though get it back. Bradley, forward ball. Gakpo into the penalty area. Murillo again. Watchful defending, backpedaling to head it away. And then Gibbs-White opens it out towards that far side and Williams runs forward. Said to you at half-time, it had the feel of just one goal would be enough, and naturally the longer you go on, that feeling only increases. Derby 3, Port Vale 0 is the latest score in League One. Brentford Chelsea, John Southall.
Brentford 1, Chelsea 1. Great chance for Chelsea. Gusto down the right. Cole Palmer running onto it, unmarked, 12 yards out. Put it wide. At the other end, Wissa has just headed horribly wide. Brentford 1, Chelsea 1.
Toffolo with a cross, left-hand side. Elanga fires it wide. Left-footed, hit it first time. 12 yards out from goal. What a chance for Forest. Goal kick 0-0.
Best chance of the game. Elanga really should at least hit the target. The ball's fired across the box when it's Toffolo on this left-hand side. Link-up play with Awoniyi, holds the ball up inside the box, holds off Van Dijk, rolls it back to Toffolo, smashes the ball across the box at the penalty spot level, falls to Elanga completely unmarked on his left foot at the far post, fires it wide of Kelleher's far post, should at least hit the target. Best chance of the game for Forest.
Straight to Goodison, another goal, Mas Faruqi.
West Ham are level, Everton 1, West Ham 1. It came from a corner, headed in by Kurt Zouma. Really good, powerful header to beat Jordan Pickford. Everton 1, West Ham 1.
So this is the only goalless game in the top flight. Fleetwood 3, Wigan 2. Fleetwood are in front. Walsall 1, Doncaster Rovers 1 is the latest score in League 2. And we're approaching the midway point of the second half. Here is Gakpo. Szoboszlai is another option if required. Szoboszlai, who's been nursing that thigh injury. But the games will come thick and fast for Liverpool. Sparta Prague away on Thursday night. Commentary of that for that early kick-off from the Czech Republic on BBC Radio 5 Live. It's a 5:45 kick-off. Manchester City, of course, next weekend. Another game live on BBC Radio 5 Live as Liverpool get a corner kick on this right-hand side. We'll be going to Birmingham where there's been a goal in a moment. But Harvey Elliott to take it. Still locked together here in this vital game at both ends of the table, and Forest have got every red shirt back. So Liverpool with the corner on this near side, the right, at the Bridgeford end of the ground. A lot of jostling going on in that penalty area. Konate, Van Dijk are up from the back. Nunez, of course, the referee has now blown his whistle. He's having a word with, I think it might be Dominguez is in there, the referee having a word with the little midfielder. Elliott waits to take it. 0-0. Elliott now left-footed, curls it in, caught straight down the throat of Sell, straight to St Andrews, Sheridan Robbins.
Birmingham 2, Southampton 3. Jay Stansfield gave the ball away in a dangerous position, and Che Adams fired it into the bottom corner against his own club. For the first time, Southampton lead. Birmingham 2, Southampton 3.
So Southampton are ahead. Leicester City, the leaders, are behind. Leeds United earlier drew. What about Ipswich? There's been a goal at Home Park. John Akers.
They're ahead. Plymouth 0, Ipswich 1. Connor Chapman 25 yards out. Curler, massive deflection. Real piece of bad luck for Plymouth. Plymouth 0, Ipswich 1.
Awoniyi, whilst we were there at Home Park, just had a moment, and it never looked with any real conviction he was going to trouble the Liverpool defence.
He got it all wrong, didn't he? He's running through one-on-one with Virgil van Dijk. He gets the better of him, gets in between Van Dijk and Konate, and then he can never just settle the ball. He just can't get the ball under control. It comes off his knee, it comes off his shin, and it just ends up bobbling into the goalkeeper's hands, and nothing comes of it. But another decent opportunity in a decent area for Forest.
Heavy rain now falling here at the City Ground. It remains 0-0. We are now midway through the second half. As the ball goes over the head of Elanga on that far side, you think about the two chances he's had during the game. The one where Kelleher made the save in the first half, and then the one in the second period, it was off target.
They've not had the most possession, but they've certainly had the better of the chances in a game where chances have been few and far between. The one in the first half, a one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and that one in particular there, he's unmarked, 12 yards out on his left foot. He should at least hit the target. He should really score from where he is.
Bolton Wanderers 2, Cambridge United 0. So Ian Everett's side have got a second goal at home as Williams comes forward and invites Elanga on that right-hand side. Scuffs the cross though from the right, and Gomez can clear for Liverpool. Well, 3 more goals would take Liverpool to the 1,000 mark under Jurgen Klopp, but he'll just be wanting the one now to secure the most important thing, the 3 points, as McAllister robs Williams. Forward ball to Nunez, got support from Elliott and Gakpo. Here is Gakpo with a shot. It was always going off target. Into the side netting. Goal kick remains 0-0. Back to the northeast, Chris Coles.
Newcastle 2, Wolves 0. Newcastle have just missed a glorious chance for 3-0. The overlapping Dan Burn clip to Joe Willock, diving header, somehow cleared off the line by Totti. It's all Newcastle. They lead Wolves 3-0.
Mentioned that the game on Thursday will have commentary. Sparta Prague, Liverpool. Tuesday night, Bayern Lazio were live in Munich. Wednesday we're live in Manchester. Manchester City against Copenhagen. And don't forget the Manchester derby from 3:30 live on 5 Live tomorrow afternoon. But torrential rain now, filthy conditions at 0-0, and 19 minutes remain as the ball is headed away. Joe Fagan was the manager that the last time that Liverpool won here in the league, 1984. They've drawn 7 and lost 6 in the 13 league visits since, as that was Conor Bradley's ball downfield, and the referee gives a free kick for a late challenge by Dominguez on Bradley. A red card now at St Andrews. Sheridan Robbins.
It's unravelling for Birmingham. Birmingham 2, Southampton 3, and their captain Dion Sanderson seen straight red for a challenge on Will Smallbone. He's back up on his feet now, but Birmingham down to 10. Birmingham 2, Southampton 3.
Rotherham 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1 as a score in the Championship. Dundee 2, Kilmarnock 1. Blackburn have got a goal back at Swansea. Swansea 2, Blackburn 1, and a goal at Brentford. John Southall.
Brentford have the lead. Brentford 2, Chelsea 1, and what a goal from Johan Wieser. It came back to him 10 yards out. Wonderful technique. Overhead kick into the bottom corner. Brentford 2, Chelsea 1.
Everton 1, West Ham 1. They missed a penalty, Everton, in the first half. Fulham lead Brighton 2-0. Newcastle lead Wolves 2-0. Tottenham 0, Crystal Palace 1. And this is the only goalless game between Nottingham Forest and Liverpool in the top flight this afternoon, with 18 minutes remaining. Peterborough 2, Exeter 1 is the latest scoreline. Wickham 2, Barnsley 3 elsewhere in League One. Barnsley on a really good run of form. They've only lost 1 of their 17 in League One. Gakpo though for Liverpool, running forward, stumbling, loses the ball Retained his balance, Yates with a clearance.
Just lack that quality, haven't they, in the final third, Liverpool? For all the possession that they've had and the cutting edge they've had, they just haven't made the right choices in the vital areas.
McAllister chips it forward. Nunez tried the little back header, didn't quite come off, runs out for a goal kick. Applauded nevertheless by Jurgen Klopp. Walsall 2, Doncaster 1, and news of that goal in that South Yorkshire derby from Cat Downs.
Yeah, and it's from Ike Ugbo, his 6th in 5 matches. Rotherham know that he's the Sheffield Wednesday danger man. They've smothered him for the last 66 minutes, but he managed to break free just in front of the goal to tap it in. Wednesday then dragging themselves up towards the dotted line of safety. Rotherham 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
5 laps to go in the Bahrain Grand Prix, the closing stages. You can hear commentary on Sports Extra. Sells took an awful long time with the goal kick. Still 0-0 here at the City Ground. 17 minutes remaining. Manchester United is the only time that Liverpool have failed to score this season. Look back, they've only failed once in their last 51 games. But at the minute, Paul, you're absolutely right. Apart from that Luis Diaz early opportunity, not really created serious chances.
They've lacked that cutting edge there, Liverpool, for the possession they've had, the quality that they've had. They just haven't had that quality in the final third to create any real opportunities. But saying that, they have looked better since Nunez has come on. He's created that figurehead, that number 9. He's occupying the centre halves and allowing the others in behind him to do some key work.
Paul Tin is just having a word with Jurgen Klopp about his behaviour in the technical area. Featured game in League One, Paul Scott.
League One leaders are ahead once again. It's Portsmouth 2, Oxford 1. Christian Sadie, the substitute, with his first league goal of the season. A composed finish from the edge of the area. Pompey 2, Oxford 1.
McAllister outside the D of his own penalty area. Tries to hit it long. Murillo. So many times he's just been there, right place, right time to head the ball away. Liverpool are going to be making another change. Back to Headingley in the Rugby League, Matt Newson.
Yeah, Leeds 10, Catalan 10. Both players got a man in the sim in Justin Sangare. Swinging arm, a high tackle then in reply from Jordan Desiree. It's getting spiteful, but it's all square, 10 apiece.
Stoke City, who'd lost 6 of their last 7, are now leading Middlesbrough 2-0. Ilanga, his forward ball towards Awonyi, but muscled off the ball by Konate with ease.
He makes the wrong choice again, Ilanga. He's got himself in some really good positions today. He's had 2 really good goal scoring opportunities, and when he gets there, he just lets the ball go at the wrong time to Awonyi.
Still 0-0. Luis Diaz picks it up, left-hand side of the penalty area, enters the box, plays it outside towards McAllister, 25 yards out from goal. He plays it back, Endo's forward ball. Bradley pops up into a central area, now towards Harvey Elliott, right corner of the box, enters the penalty area with a cutback and then cleared by Nico Williams. Morecambe have got a goal back at Crewe. Crewe 2, Morecambe 1 in League 2. In League 1, it's Carlisle 1, Reading 3 now, and Szoboszlai is going to be coming on. Szoboszlai is going to be replacing Harvey Elliott. So he's missed the last 6 games with a thigh injury. But Jurgen Klopp needs to take that chance for Liverpool. Is McAllister to Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz with a shot, and he thunders it wide, right-footed. Best chance they've created second half.
Really good by Luis Diaz, cutting in from that left-hand side. The only thing for Luis Diaz, it's on his unfavoured right foot. I think that has a different ending if he's coming in from the right-hand side onto his left foot. Goes all the way across the 18-yard box, creates himself some space, and he doesn't get any bend or curl on it. The ball just goes straight out of play, past the far post with his right foot. If that was his left foot, I think we have a different result.
Wycombe are down to 10 men. They're trailing at home against Barnsley by 3-2. David Wheeler has been sent off. Szoboszlai has come on. Elliott has gone off. We're going to go to Goodison. Mas Faruqi.
1-1. Wall press on for Calvin Phillips. That's the first sub made in this match. Another good chance for McNeil. 1 for Everton's goal scorer Beto, which took a dangerous deflection as well. Everton 1, West Ham 1.
Here is Gibbs White out to Hudson-Odoi. Gets away from Bradley. Hudson-Odoi with a cross. Cleared by Van Dijk. Just outside the 6-yard box. Bouncing ball. Dominguez helped out by Toffolo, and then it goes out of play. So Fulham, Brighton, Lee Blakeman.
Fulham leading 2-0. They should have this game wrapped up though. Muniz is shot into the side netting. Pereira's shot straight at Steele, and Wilson's just had one blocked as well. Fulham leading somehow by just the 2-0.
I'll rattle through all the latest scores in the various divisions very, very soon, but it remains 0-0 here in the Premier League. World Service on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Dominguez, layoff by Gibbs White. Awonyi tried to give it back, blocked though by Konate on the edge of the Liverpool penalty area. McAllister, could it open up for Liverpool? Toffolo though will get that ball just held up Klopp is furious with Nunez for not going towards the ball and allowing the Forest defender to step out of defence with ease.
Well, it was his defensive duties that he neglected there, Darwin Nunez. He was too busy moaning about the ball by McAllister. It didn't go into the channel where he wanted it. Instead of chasing the Forest defender back, he stood there and berated his own player. And Jurgen Klopp went mad at him, told him, get back, defend. And that's the standards that Jurgen Klopp sets. That's what he wants from his players.
Forest are going to be making a change. Danilo is going to be coming on. Here is Gibbs White. The return ball from a windy overhit. Get the team news now from the next game. The next commentary at 5:30. Luton Villa. Conor McNamara.
And Luton make 3 changes from their midweek thumping in the FA Cup by Manchester City. Kaminski returns to goal. Issa Kabori was ineligible against his old club. Andros Townsend starts. And for Villa, just 1 change to the win over Forest. Esri Kontra back in defence, replacing Pau Torres.
Conor McNamara joined by Mark Warburton for that commentary at 5:30 on BBC Radio 5 Live. Should be Elanga who's going to be coming off for Nottingham Forest. That was not an embrace, that was a bear hug by Nuno Espirito Santo for Danilo before he came onto the field of play.
It was a bit awkward, wasn't it? I think it was one of those where he went to give his player a hug and then realised that he needed to give him some last minute instructions, and the last minute instructions turned into an elongated, quite awkward hug on the touchline.
So it's going to be not Elanga, it's going to be Dominguez who's going to be coming off. So Nicholas Dominguez comes off and Danilo comes on. Wickham 2, Barnsley 4, Rangers 1, Motherwell 2. Motherwell are back in front for the second time this afternoon in the Scottish Premiership. We'll go to Connie when we can. But Rangers 1, Motherwell 2. Remember, they had a 2-point advantage ahead of Celtic's lunchtime kickoff at Tynecastle tomorrow. And Dominguez is hobbling off, is being helped off by the 2 physios.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. 2 physios just had to go off on and help him off the field. I think it was probably Elanga that was coming off, but because of that injury to Dominguez, they've had to change.
Goal at Plymouth, John Akers.
And it's another one for Ipswich. What an afternoon this could be for them as it stands, heading back into the top 2. Devon Boyd, born in Torquay, Kiefer Moore scores the second. Plymouth 0, Ipswich 2.
Latest scores in the Scottish Premiership. Dundee lead Kilmarnock by 2-1. Killia down to 10 men. Hibs lead Ross County by 1-0. Rangers 1, Motherwell 2. Bottom of the table, Livingston are leading at McDermott Park. St Johnstone 0, Livingston 1. St Mirren 0, Aberdeen 1. And here is news of that second Motherwell goal from Connie.
Rangers, Daniel, have been riding the luck, to be fair, in the last couple of minutes. Motherwell finally getting that breakthrough. It has been coming. It was Dan Casey on the left-hand side, a really tight angle, managed to squeeze the ball under Jack Butland, much to the delight of the Motherwell fans celebrating in the corner. And as it stands, Rangers will be 2 points ahead of Celtic. Celtic play Hearts tomorrow, the title race back on. Rangers 1, Motherwell 2.
Yeah, that'll be that game in hand as Nottingham Forest are attacking. Elanga back towards Yates. Still it remains 0-0 here at the City Ground. Elanga bursts forward with pace, edge of the area, plays it back. Danilo, his forward ball, finds Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi on the left. Hudson-Odoi looks for a shooting opportunity, took a deflection. Kelleher with the save. Crew 2, Morecambe 2, by the way, is the latest score in League 2. The other latest scores are Grimsby leading Forest Green by 1-0. Newport 0, the leaders Mansfield 1. Salford 0, Gillingham 2. Swindon 0, Harrogate 1. Tranmere 0, Sutton 0. Walsall 2, Doncaster 1. Wrexham 4, Accrington 0. A goal now at Tottenham, Henry Moran.
An equaliser for Tottenham. What credit must go to Brennan Johnson, tireless, fighting for that ball. He centred it. Timo Werner applies the finish for his first Tottenham goal. Tottenham 1, Palace 1.
Elsewhere in the Premier League, 0-0 here at the City Ground. Brentford 2, Chelsea 1, Everton 1, West Ham 1, Fulham 2, Brighton 0. Newcastle still lead Wolves by 2-0. Commentary to come from Kenilworth Road at 5:30. I've got the latest scores in League 1 and the Championship to bring you just as yet, but with 9 minutes remaining, we're going to get a quick update in the Rugby League with Matt Newsom.
Yeah, lead 16, Catalan 10, a sparkling try. Ash Handley finishing off out wide. The kick was good from Rhys Martin, and Leeds have the advantage over Catalan, 16-10.
29,603 are packed into the City Ground this afternoon. As the ball is sent forward and released is Hudson-Odoi on the left-hand side, closed down by 2 Liverpool players. Plays it back, Toffolo joins the attack, takes it on with a cutback. Excellent play by McAllister. to take it away from his fellow number 10 Gibbs White. Now Bradley floats the ball forward towards Gakpo, lets it run, takes it away from Danilo, gets the cut into the challenge, out of play it goes for a throw. Liverpool are going to make a double change. Jayden Danns is going to be coming off, and Tsimikas is also going to be coming on for Liverpool in these closing stages. Let's go back to Brentford. John Southall.
Brentford 2, Chelsea 1. Could easily have been 3 though. Serge Reguilon with a diving header 6 yards out off the base of the left post. Brentford 2, Chelsea 1.
0-0 here. Tsimikas gets a little hug and a word in his left ear from Jurgen Klopp. Ball out towards that far side. Luis Diaz waits, left hand side, sends over the cross, headed away by Murillo. He's missed nothing in the air for Forest at the back today. McAllister plays it back to Van Dijk. Every outfield player is in the Forest half. McAllister now 30 yards out from goal, plays it to Diaz, left corner of the area. Liverpool threatening. Luis Diaz with a cross. Gakpo with a header, couldn't get there. Bradley tees it back. Szoboszlai's shot takes a deflection behind and out for a corner kick.
Well, there's 2 shouts for a handball there. Liverpool looking for a handball off the Forest defender, and Forest claiming there was a handball in Liverpool in the build-up. Good play again by Diaz down the left-hand side, outside of his right boot, curls a crossing, and it comes off Conor Bradley's. It looks like it comes off his right arm. I think it's McAllister in the end who gets the strike, and it goes out for a corner. Another corner to Liverpool.
There's been a late goal at Carrow Road. We'll go there in a moment, but the corner kick to be taken. Still the double substitution waits. And in fact, the change is going to happen now, so we can go to Flo at Carrow Road. Flo Pollock.
Norwich 1, Sunderland 0. Ball whipped in the box. Josh Sargent flicked on with his head, gone to his own flick on, lashed it in. Norwich 1, Sunderland 0.
So Tsimikas is coming on for Conor Bradley. That means that Joe Gomez will play in his 3rd different position of the afternoon, as he will go to right back to replace Conor Bradley. And then Cody Gakpo is the player who has come off, and Jayden Danns comes on to replace him. He made his Premier League debut against Luton Town at Anfield just the other week. Corner kick, Szoboszlai to take it, Konate up in the back. Jayden Danns has gone to ground there. Liverpool supporters are appealing. Interesting to see if this is checked, and indeed it will be being checked here, because Paul Tierney has put his hand up to VAR. We'll have a look elsewhere. There's been another goal at Tottenham. Henry Moran.
And just like that, Tottenham have the lead. Romero's header drifting just beyond the outstretched grasp of Johnston. Tottenham coming from behind now lead Palace by 2-1.
Have you seen it again, Paul?
Yeah, I think he's got a really good case here, is Jayden Danns. Jayden Danns and Danilo. As the corner comes in, he tries to move. Danilo's wrapped both of his arms around him and taken him to the ground. He's nowhere near the ball. I mean, it's not being given. VAR have checked it and the game has continued, but I think he's got away with one there as Danilo, simply because they were nowhere near the ball. Jayden Danns could have won his team a penalty without even touching the ball.
Stuart Atwell is the VAR at Stockley Park, as that bouncing ball, and Jayden Danns has caught Matt Sells very, very late. The keeper had claimed it, and the youngster, maybe a little bit frustrated from the previous decision that didn't go with him, jumped into the goalkeeper. And the 2 managers just having a little word, but Nuno Espirito Santo not happy. A goal at Brentford. John Southall.
Chelsea are level, Brentford 2, Chelsea 2. Cross from the left-hand side, short corner, and there was Axel Disasi 4 yards out to thump it in with a header. Brentford 2, Chelsea 2.
A goal now at St Andrews. Sheridan Robbins.
10-man Birmingham 3, Southampton 3. Stansfield effort came off the post, and Bakuna made no mistake with the follow-up. Birmingham 3, Southampton 3.
I'll get your opinion on that in a minute, Paul. I just want to rattle through these championship scores. In fact, League One first. Bolton 2, Cambridge 0, Carlisle 1, Reading 3, Cheltenham 0, Burton 0, Derby 3, Port Vale 0, Fleetwood 4, Wigan 2, Leyton Orient 0, Bristol Rovers 1, Lincoln Stevenage goalless at Sincil Bank, Northampton 1, Charlton 1, Peterborough 2, Exeter 1, Portsmouth the leaders 2, Oxford 1, Shrewsbury 0, Blackpool 1, Wickham 2, Barnsley 4. Mas Faruqi at Goodison Park.
What a brilliant chance for a second for West Ham, and Kudos running onto the ball over the top. Brilliant work from Pickford in front of the watching Gareth Southgate to do enough to put him off. Calvert-Lewin's on now as well, and Mikel Antonio. Can either side win it late on? Still Everton 1, West Ham 1.
Verstappen has won the Formula 1, the opening race of the new season, the Bahrainian Grand Prix, won by Max Verstappen. I'll give you the championship scores after I've just got Paul. I know what's your thoughts of that challenge as a former goalkeeper?
Well, Jayden Danns, I mean, he's certainly been involved in the game since he's come on, and he hasn't touched the ball yet. He was involved in a shout for a penalty for his team, which he could have got, and there he makes a needless challenge on Sells, the goalkeeper. The ball bounces in behind the Forest back line. The goalkeeper comes and he claims the ball easily after it's bounced. He's claimed it quite comfortably, and as he's just about to land, Jayden Danns just runs into him. I mean, it's a needless, senseless foul from Danns. I think it's just over-exuberance from the youngster who's just come on.
Earlier on, the two results in the Championship: Bristol City 0, Cardiff 1, Huddersfield 1, Leeds United 1. Ipswich, though, are going second because they are leading at Plymouth by 2-0, and Southampton, as we heard from Sheridan, have been pegged back by the 10 men. Birmingham 3, Southampton 3. Leicester 1, Queen's Park Rangers 2. Elsewhere, Leicester City continue to falter at this stage of the season. Millwall lead Watford by 1-0. Norwich 1-0 up at home to Sunderland. Preston 0, Hull City 0. Rotherham 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Stoke City 2. Middlesbrough 0, Swansea lead Blackburn by 2-1. Sells is still getting treatment. You're not missing any of the action as we go to Craven Cottage and Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 2, Brighton 0, but Brighton have just hit the post. Buonanotte, edge of the area, left foot, fierce shot, came back off the foot of the post. 9 minutes to go, Fulham 2, Brighton 0.
No other goals elsewhere, but we do have time to check in on Leicester City. Pat Murphy.
They're still 2-1 down at the moment. QPR's tall, rugged defenders are holding firm. Just now, a great block by Field from a shot from Agbon that was goal bound. It's still Leicester 1, QPR 2.
3 minutes remain of normal time, but that was a lengthy stoppage, and with the amount of substitution, I'm thinking 6-7 minutes, maybe even more for minimum time.
We're in the time now, aren't we, when somebody puts 4 minutes up, we now all go, is that all it is? I mean, 4 minutes used to be a long time, but I think we'll be having a good chunk of stoppage time at the end of this game.
Play is back underway. We'll nip to Headingley Rugby League. Matt Newsom.
Yeah, Leeds 18, Catalan 10, 2-score lead. Penalty goal from Reece Martin just takes this one probably out of the sights of Catalan. Leeds 18, Catalan 10.
Surely can't help but feel now that the next goal will win it between these two. Still 0-0 as McAllister for Liverpool. Far side the left. Simicast, the left back, running away from the penalty area, back towards the halfway line, finds Van Dijk. His forward ball to Endo. Diaz lets it run through to Simicast. Simicast delivers the cross, blocks. Corner kick for Liverpool in front of their travelling support.
We're coming into a stage in the game now, it's where who's going to be the bravest? Who wants to win this game more? Neither side can really afford to lose this game, but who's going to be brave? Who's going to take that chance? Which one of these two teams is going to take the opportunity to try and win this game?
Swindon have got an equaliser at home to Harrogate. Swindon 1, Harrogate 1 in League 2. Simicast waits to take the corner kick, but Paul Tierney is having a word with Danilo. He's got Jayden Danns to deal with, bearing in mind that the last time they had a little tangle, Liverpool were looking for a penalty. VAR did have a check, they dismissed it. Don't forget, match of the day tonight, 10:30 BBC One. There's the referee's whistle. Corner kick for Liverpool, still goalless. It's an outswinger, headed away by Omar Bamadeli, climbed high, helped further away by Hudson-Odoi. Gomez gets the ball back from McAllister. Every outfield player is in the Forest half. Gomez, because of Hudson-Odoi, has to go all the way back to Kelleher. We're about to find out how much added on time there will be here at the City Ground. Toffolo challenges Canate in the air. Toffolo runs into his own player. Ball played forward by Endo. It reaches Darwin Nunez. Darwin Nunez, edge of the penalty area, shoots. Block comes in from Yates, was a very good one. And cleared by Toffolo, high towards Awonyi. Headed away by Van Dijk. Liverpool seeing a lot of the ball. Szoboszlai. Graham Scott, the fourth official, has the electronic board in his hands here at the City Ground. 8 minutes of added on time, which we're now into. Luis Diaz, left corner of the area. Luis Diaz with a shot, drops wide, took a deflection on its way through, corner Liverpool.
Diaz cutting in from that left hand side again. It's on his right foot, his weaker right foot. Just can't get any curl, any purchase on the shot, but it does get a deflection, and it's yet again another corner for Liverpool.
Crewe 2, Morecambe 3 is the latest score in League 2. Hibs now lead Ross County by 2-0 in the Scottish Premiership. Right side, corner kick, Szoboszlai, right-footed, outswinger. Van Dijk tries to get on the head of it, referee's blown his whistle. There was a foul there, I think, from the Liverpool captain, and that will be a free kick to Nottingham Forest inside their own penalty area, goalless.
They've defended so well today, Nottingham Forest. The two centre-halves from Murillo and Badeli have been absolutely brilliant. Toffolo, Williams, the full-backs. They've had a problem all season, Nottingham Forest, on set plays. You could almost guarantee that they'd concede from set plays. They've been fantastic today, the way they've defended their box and protected their goalkeeper.
Ryan Yates has been named man of the match on his 50th Premier League appearance for the club. This could still be a precious point for Nottingham Forest. They've only collected 4 points out of a possible 18 as they try to eke their way towards safety.
Well, when you're down there, and believe me, I've been down there, and you do look at games and you look at where you're going to potentially pick up points for the rest of the season, and you do it honestly as a player, and you look at games, and there's not many of these Nottingham Forest players who would have looked at this game today and thought, we'll get a point or we'll get 3. If they get something from this game, it'll be a huge bonus.
Downs able to turn out to Summarised. Summarised with a cross, sliding in was Nunez, gathered in by the goalkeeper. A late goal at Tottenham, Hen Moran.
That'll do it for Spurs. Son running through, real composure, his 13th of the season. Spurs from behind lead by 3 goals to 1.
Forest have won the ball back. A one-year shot takes a deflection, loops over the crossbar. Corner kick to Nottingham Forest, and all of a sudden Liverpool were bringing the ball out. They got dispossessed, and Awoniyi has the effort.
Well, Endo just switched off in possession. Him and Konate had comfortable possession. Endo thought he had all the time in the world. Awoniyi thought differently. Robs him of possession, 25 yards from goal. Hits the shot, deflection off Konate. And as you can hear from the fans, Forest have got a corner in front of their own fans at the Trent end.
I don't think Sells can continue, by the way.
He's struggling, isn't he?
Matt Turner has been looking at him, and he's saying, am I coming on, am I not? A yellow card has been shown to Gibbs White for time wasting by referee Paul Tierney. 0-0, 5 live, the World Service and BBC Sounds. 3 minutes of the minimum of 8 have added on time. Corner kick for Forest, rolled short on this near side the left to Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi, right-footed cross, headed out by Endo, taken on the chest by Szoboszlai, pushed over by Danilo. Free kick for Liverpool, and then he kicks the ball away, and Danilo is shown the yellow card.
He's struggling in goal, his Sells. I think he's got a dead leg, which is saying he's struggling to move. Turner's frantically trying to get ready down here. Believe me, as a substitute goalkeeper, in the 94th minute at 0-0, you do not want to be coming on. It's a really tough ask.
Well, he's put his gloves on. He's looking across. For the time being, the green bib remains on, and Matt Turner takes his seat back on the dugout. 4 minutes remain. Liverpool potentially dropping points. Forest potentially picking up a valuable point. McAllister. Summarised, he threads it through. Summarised with a cross, charge down, corner kick for Liverpool. They're still knocking on the door.
Yeah, the corners keep racking up, don't they? But say Forest have defended resolutely thus far into the game, and they're marking again exactly the same. 2 men free. Murillo keeps himself free on the edge of that 6-yard box, and he's won so many headers.
Williams hobbling quite badly as he makes his way back to the near post. Corner kick far side the left. Liverpool playing from left to right. Summarised with the outswinging corner. Nunez! Did that cross the line? Sells makes the save. Nunez at the near post climbs so high. Nothing wrong with the agility of Sells. He was down very, very sharply at his near post.
At first glance, that looks like a fantastic save, and watching the replay, it is. It comes off Darwin Nunez at the near post, I think it is, heads it onto Murillo, and the goalkeeper's completely unsighted. It's a complete reaction save. That's an absolutely fantastic save, which might have just earned his team the most valuable of points.
Fine reflex save from Matt Sells. Late goal at Fulham, Lee Blakeman.
Fulham 3, Brighton 0. Deco Dover-Reid won it in the midfield, played in Traore, slotted it past the keeper. 3 goals and 3 points. Fulham 3, Brighton 0.
Here is Endo for Liverpool. By my watch, still 3 minutes remain of added on time here on 5 Live. Diaz, midway through the Forest half. McAllister makes the run off him. Diaz holds on to the ball, still being tracked and shackled by Yates. Won't give him much room. Konate central position. Every outfield player in the Forest half. Gomez's ball strikes Gibbs White. Cleared now by Forest towards Danilo. He plays it out towards Hudson-Odoi. He gets away from the lunge of Gomez. Hudson-Odoi now running forward. It's 4 against 2 in favour of Forest. Here is Gibbs White, edge of the area. Van Dijk comes across, gets the block in, diverts the ball behind for a corner kick. Another late goal elsewhere at Goodison. That's Faruqi.
Fabulous goal in stoppage time to probably give West Ham all 3 points from Thomas Souček from the right-hand side of the area with swerve past Jordan Pickford. Everton 1, West Ham 2.
What a chance that was for Forest, Paul.
Oh, fantastic opportunity for Gibbs White, but great defending by Liverpool. Forest had a massive overload. They had a 4-on-2, but it was a 1-year. I think he just picks the wrong pass. He finds Gibbs White, but I think Danilo was in a better place.
2 minutes remain of added on time. Corner kick for Forest, far side the right. In it comes now. Headed away by McAllister at the near post. It'll come out to this near side, the left. Hudson-Odoi closed down by Diaz. Referee Paul Tierney, he's been consistent. Every time a player has gone down, whether it be a Liverpool player or a Forest player, if it's a head injury, he's blown his whistle. Konate was holding his head. The referee stopped play.
He's been consistent, but I certainly wouldn't like to walk back to his car with him out the City ground tonight. I don't think he's got many friends in Nottingham Forest shirts, as you can hear by the crowd now. He's given a drop ball, uncontested drop ball to Liverpool because he stopped the game.
Yeah, it's an uncontested drop ball, and the Forest bench, to a man, how many is that? There must be 6-7 of the bench in the technical area are up and out of there, and Graham Scott is the one who's got to try and placate them all. A late goal at St James's Park. Chris Coles.
A third for Newcastle, 3 points for Newcastle. Tino Livramento, the substitute, picked the ball up on halfway. He kept going and going and going, and then bundled it into the bottom corner. Newcastle 3, Wolves 0.
By my watch, we're inside the last 60 seconds. Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 0 here on 5 Live. Van Dijk inside the Forest half, goes into a central area. Konate to Szoboszlai, running forward. Endo bounces away from him. Williams able to clear, and it will go out for a Liverpool throw on the halfway line. Still the boos, and now there are words being said between the two dugouts. Stephen Reid is the one who's having been told to sit back down by the fourth official, Graham Scott. It's all happening. Van Dijk will find Tsimikas. Tsimikas on the left-hand side. His cross is a deep one inside the penalty area. Toffolo lets it bounce. It'll run through to this near side. Gomez down by the corner flag. And he wins a corner off the legs of Toffolo. And by my watch, the 8 minutes are now up. Now or never in the title race for Liverpool if they're to get the 3 points here at Forest.
This is a huge moment for Liverpool. Szoboszlai to deliver from this right-hand side. Every single player on the pitch, apart from Kelleher, surrounding or in the Nottingham Forest box. This is a last chance for Liverpool.
I wondered if Kelleher might even come up from the back. I remember Alisson once scoring at the Hawthorns in injury time. Szoboszlai with the corner on the right-hand side. Headed out only as far as Tsimikas. Fires it back in. Blocked. Hudson-Odoi looks to clear. Liverpool win the ball back on the edge of the area. McAllister chips it back into the box. The header. Liverpool through Nunez. Incredible finish. Liverpool in the 9th minute of added on time. Nunez back with a bang for Liverpool, and that will ensure that Liverpool remain top of the pile going into that crucial clash against Manchester City. Utter bedlam in the City ground in the Liverpool end, because Nunez with the glancing header, and Liverpool have got the winning goal.
Wow, what a finish to this game. They never stop, they never give up. Is that a sign of true champions? The City ground has just got into ruptures behind that goal. There's red flares on the pitch, there's supporters on the pitch. The Liverpool bench has exploded. There's people everywhere, stewards on the pitch. Absolute bedlam. Darwin Nunez has just got his side the most vital of 3 points.
Darwin Nunez has missed the last 3 games with the winning goal at the City ground. And there's been another late goal. It's a Goodison Nasfaruki.
A third for West Ham. Edson Alvarez sliding in for West Ham's third on the counter as Everton were pushing for the equaliser. Everton 1, West Ham 3.
They haven't won in the league since 1984. The ball played over the top, and Nunez kept his composure and guided it perfectly. Pastels.
At that stage of the game, McAllister's composure there at the edge of the box. He turns, he doesn't just loft the hopeful ball in, he picks out Darwin Nunez, who's pulled onto Williams, one of the smallest defenders. He's clever, Darwin Nunez. It's a fantastic cross from McAllister, and Nunez just glances it into the far post. Nothing the keeper can do about it. Quality from McAllister, and a fantastic finish by Nunez.
The way those Liverpool fans are celebrating, it's almost as if they're on a loop, because they're just continually jumping up and down as a red flare has been let off. There surely can't be much time left for Forest, because we're now in the 11th minute of added on time. Diaz heads it away to Nunez. Nunez will hold on to the ball and play it out towards Tsimikas, and there is the final whistle, and Liverpool make it 4 wins from 4 in the Premier League since that defeat against Arsenal, but the boos are directed towards referee Paul Tierney from the Forest fans. It's a hammer blow for Forest. Paul Robinson.
They gave everything, Nottingham Forest. They defended resolutely, but Liverpool just don't stop. They kept knocking, they kept getting corner after set play. The quality that they had when Núñez came on, and that little bit of quality at the end. The ball in from McAllister, the header from Núñez. You can hear the disgruntled Nottingham Forest fans. They're really not happy. But those Liverpool fans away to the right, the party started.
Paul Tierney is being surrounded by members of the Nottingham Forest coaching staff. There's at least one yellow card that has been shown. I wouldn't be surprised if there's more, but what a story here at the top of the table. It's finished at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 1.